This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this special flu game edition of One Nation Radio. I am James Boyd. And here with me I have Rich Latta. I guess in this situation, like, neither one of us, Scotty, we're both Pippin. Neither one of us is Scotty, we're both Jordan. Cause like, when you say things like, hey, you know, me and you, we team together in this, we could be the Michael and Scotty in this thing, and number disrespect going on because if you believe in yourself, you ain't no damn Scotty. And if the other person believes in you, you know damn well this disrespect because you ain't calling yourself no Scotty neither. So it's two Michael Jordans doing this, and we gonna thug this one out. We gonna get this through, and I don't know how long, but like there's so much stuff that like if it needs to go into a later episode, it will go into a later episode. But there's a lot of CM Punk in this show, and if you are not for the funny parts of the CM Punk thing, or the sad parts of the CM Punk thing, or any other parts of the CM Punk thing, you can tune the fuck out now, because that's what the opening A block and the B block and the C block and maybe even the D block, like the G1 this year, is gonna be.
Yeah, it's like I hope we get to talk about the wrestling this show. I like so
maybe.
But yeah, I definitely do want to talk about Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee against the Acclaimed at some point. But before we do that, James, since this is the flu game and I am not feeling well either, I guess there's only, and we are the Chicago Bulls of this thing, double Jordans. There's only one fitting song to kick this show off with. So allow me to hit the music. Yes, we are here. Let's fucking go.
Okay, so I'm on the way headed home. Like, I have not actually seen all of All Out. I was over at Zach's, and like we got ourselves to a situation where we're like, oh shit, like who's gonna log in to enter info? And then we went on on his smart TV. And the app would not like accept any of our passwords or any of our logins. And then we sent emails. Shout out to BR Live, by the way. Not really. And we put all of our emails and our individual passwords in, and they were like, nah, not happening. And then like when we went to say, hey, well, let's reset our passwords, none of our like reset password emails ever came in to this day. Damn. Like, if you look at my timeline, if you look at my profile, like, I end up having them DM in, like, on social media message BR support and say, hey, bro, this shit ain't working. And their response was, check your spam folder. I felt like CM Punk after the show. I want to motherfuck all of them. But, that didn't work, and then eventually Zach threw a whole bunch of different types of back channel, other goofy things, found a way to pay for it on his phone and cast it from his phone to his TV, and we went from there, and like, terrible experience, by the way, and like, there's a reason why I've never bought a pay-per-view off of BR Live ever. But whatever. That goes to show you. It is what it is. But
Jesus.
Yeah, still waiting to reset my password whenever the next time I may need to use BR Live. But whatever.
2028.
Maybe. The hell. Yeah. Then again, next time that comes up, it'll be okay because like I don't have to worry about those things on the Peacock, will I? Anyway, at the rate this shit's going. But so I ended up missing the casino ladder match and also missed most, like basically all but maybe like the last like 6-7 minutes of the trios tournament. And what I saw at the end of that was great. So I can't wait to get back and watch both of those matches. I saw a lot of things like struck fear in my heart when I heard Dan say like people are making allusions to Retribution based off the casino ladder match. I was like, oh no, but cut the bullshit, get to the end, talk my experience. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
CM Punk at the end of this show, after winning back the AEW World Title, and what I thought was a great match, gets a question from a guy who once did improv with Colt Cabana, and that's all CM Punk needed for him to quavo and take off. Look, man. He asked that man, who do you do improv with? And Buddy thought he was slick, and it was like Scott Colton. Scott Colton. All right, you want to go with that name? I'll call him that for the rest of the show, for the rest of the next like half hour. And he proceeded to talk about his relationship and whatever else in such a way to where like,
yeah, he didn't even get a question.
Yeah. He went off. There was times when Tony Khan was trying to cut it off by saying, I apologize if he was taking a question for you if you got today, even though like that's not his fault and that's not that dude's fault. He didn't even ask a question, he didn't even get a question off for him to go like this. He was trying to stop it, and then when Khan tried to stop it, because I have now watched this thing from like 3 different times, between different people's cameras, like Denise Salcedo, the mainstream, for the scrum that was on the YouTube for AEW and other places, and like Tony Khan tried to stop it and get the ship back on track, and CM Punk said, "Nah, nosedive this bitch. We are finna go straight into this mud, and you finna have to sit here with me, and we gonna be rolling this shit. It is what it is." And man, he proceeded to say lots of things. Yeah. Look, man.
Like,
if this is what I would say. If you are a person that is a neutral party in all of this and don't really and like CM Punk and everybody in as much as everybody else, you're not playing a favorite side. It is very, very hard for somebody to see somebody do up there and put on that kind of performance on stage, if you will, because he was like, regardless of whether how much is true or not, it was definitely performance. And man, like he was very compelling and very persuasive. Because I was sitting there like, hey man. I know, because, even the previous weeks when me and you were talking about the back and forth with Hangman and the Punk thing, I was like, hey, bro, I think you're leaving out this major thing where it's like, they don't fucking know CM Punk like that. And for some dude to randomly come out here in the middle of a promo and say some shit like that is out of pocket. And it's up for CM Punk to take it however he wants to take it. And the way that man took it was, who the fuck are you? What the fuck you ever done? Get the fuck out my face. I do not care what you've done in this company. Because I'm a bigger star than you, and if you want to go this route, if it comes between me and you, push comes to shove, Tony Khan's his number guy. The numbers ain't looking good for you, my guy. Straight up or ship the fuck out. I don't care about you. I don't care about Colt Cabana. I don't care about your friends protecting you either. And I was like, hey, this energy, they gotta fight. And apparently they did. And the thing is, today, after all that's been leading up to this over the past couple of weeks or whatever else, I have so much more respect for CM Punk and Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson and A Steel, who I don't even know who fucking existed like 8 days ago, is Kenny Omega. You know who I don't have that much respect for after finding about all this stuff and everybody's around? Adam Page. Where were you to come catch your fate and name your honor, respect, and dignity and name in these streets? Because they was out there fighting for your ass. Where were you fighting for your ass when you was trying to fight for your friend?
Apparently, FTR and Hangman both left the building because they were not needed for the scrum. And the people that were still there were the elite.
Fitting. FTR and Adam Page, unessential. Fitting.
Yep.
Telling.
And it's funny. Everyone's tried to say, yeah, man, we need this Elite versus CM FTR match, and I'm like, how are we putting FTR in there? What have they done to be on this level? Get the fuck out of here.
They're CM Punk's friends.
Yeah,
but except when it was time for smoke.
like unbelievable. But I watched this and I was like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Punk is like
giving it to him,
assassinating Colt Cabana, calling Hangman like empty-headed and dumb and like all this other stuff. He acted like, or Tony Khan was just sitting there. He looked like a cuckold while all this shit was going on. This shit just happening in front of him, and it was a car crash that he had no way to stop the shit. And then he starts going in on the Bucks, and just he starts trying to do the drawing money shit and all this selective amnesia, like money has never been drawn in this company, tickets have never been sold, the world didn't exist before CM Punk. I imagine that sentiment does not go over very well. When I heard this, I immediately thought somebody like wanted to fight him. And when he went on national TV before, what was the reprimand for that? Because there seems like there was none. Because here he went again in using this public forum to do this, to embarrass the company, show he has zero respect for Tony Khan, who's sitting right there. And then it's just like he's assuming like people are planning all these stories. No one has come out and said they've been told by the Bucks or Kenny or anyone that they're specifically planning stories on CM Punk.
Well, I mean,
like CM Punk
hold on.
Paranoid.
Hold on. First off, let's stop there. Like, I get where you're saying from that, but like nobody is revealing their sources. That's how you even get the story to begin with. So
right.
So go from there.
But I think smart people can put two and two together and notice why this guy isn't around anymore. So when Tony Khan's like CM Punk had nothing to do with it, maybe he did not. But it is like, I think people were just looking at which way the wind is blowing on this, and it's like, it doesn't necessarily need to be the Elite planning stories. And then CM Punk goes on about, jeopardizing the first $1 million gate. I'm looking at it. Most people took that as him threatening, saying he was not going to show up for the pay-per-view.
Yeah, which is weird to me how people I can see how people believe that if you only watch that sound clip of that particular part of the thing. But as he leaves, if you watch the whole ultimately very compelling 26 minutes, the 5-star 26 minutes, if you watch that, you see what he means by that. He's upset. Like the stuff that you were hinting at of what you think he meant was the Colt Cabana thing when the workers' rights line got brought up by Adam Page. That was exactly what he was pissed about.
Nobody responded to in real time.
Yeah.
Like only like certain people that were really plugged in, like Voices of Wrestling, Josh Smith, myself, and like a small group of people were kind of like speculating about this. Yo, there's something right there, and that's clearly Colt Cabana. I remember we had group chats about it. I'm like, there's nothing else it could be. And like I was sure of it. And but that shit went unfucking noticed for months and months and months.
Because Punk was gone for months and months.
Because Punk was gone. Yeah. CM Punk clearly comes back, does the thing on national television. We don't get the resolution for that. And it's like, well, how many times is Punk gonna like go out in public before somebody has to step to him when he's like in this press conference beating his chest, saying, no, I will walk down this hallway and no one will step to me. And then he got stepped to.
Well, I mean, I was gonna the plan depending on how we were going to go as far as handling all of the stuff that CM Punk said in these press conferences. Like, look, the stuff that Keith Lee and Swerve did in this press conference was outstanding as well. And the stuff that in that line that Tony Storm dropped in the middle about Thunder Rosa, that was also like, wait, what? And that's completely overshadowed. But when we were going to go through all the CM Punk thing, I was going to come up with all the funny puns for CM Punk. And like, when it led to him saying all these fighting words and him basically saying like, hey, like, if you have a problem with me, he said, and then he said, well, it's whatever. And he's like, let's fucking go. Like, that was CM pull up. That's exactly what that was. He was at that point where like, he didn't care. He was willing to fight anybody. And also, you know how it is in one of them locker rooms. A couple punches get thrown. People start getting into a clinch. might go to the ground, it gets broken up, and it's pulled apart. And whoever landed a punch or two, you can say one or whatever else. And then from there, the story of what actually happened far outgrows whatever actually really transpires and out. Cause like, I've heard rumors today that CM Punk dropped one of the Jacksons today. And I was like, I can't, what? That sounds like that sounds like we're playing the high school game of telephone, so I'm not going to indulge in that. Like, whatever was reported is what was reported, and I'll go off that. But until I see somewhere that is a reputable site that I give a fuck about, I'll run off that. All this other stuff is innuendo, and like, I'm for it 'cause it's funny, but outside of that, like, I'm not going to actually like really engage with it. But like, I saw someone say that he dropped the Jackson. I was like, ain't no fucking way, boy. He dropped the Jackson and he saw it coming, or he stole off on him. I'll buy that he dropped him if he stole off on him, but just like the Vince McMahon, Bret Hart, just cold cocks him and he drops. Come on now. That's too good. Man. Ain't no way. CM Punk can have that. Ain't no, look, there is no fucking way that CM Punk has that kind of day where he wins back the AEW World title in one of his best matches since he came back in front of Chicago, buries a whole fucking era of a whole entire leadership faction, and in a way you can be like, hey, he's pretty persuasive right here for 40 points. He's wrong at some points, but for what he's standing up, for what he believes in, I'm with it. And then drops one of the niggas like minutes later. Ain't no way someone had a day this good since this pandemic started. Ain't no fucking way. So I need verification on that one. Ain't no way.
I was hearing stories early this morning that kind of like, I was hearing one version of the story, and I was seeing all the same reporting as everyone else, and it was like, it's hard to really talk about, so bear with me here. But the whole thing, rolls from Hangman. Basically, like, he has this attitude where no one's done shit in this business except him. And that, to me, sounds like code for you've never been to WWE. And I imagine that doesn't go over very well. And it's just like, it's kind of a look into his mindset on wrestling. And yeah, I think there was a good comment that was like, people were acting like AEW was on death's door before CM Punk showed up. It's like, no, like, it wasn't like that. Like,
no, they were fine.
But yeah, I thought this was horrible. Like, I've never seen somebody act like this in wrestling, like in public like this. Like,
I mean,
in front of the owner.
Okay, yeah, that's a different perspective. Well, maybe. Hold on, let me think. I'm trying to think of some of the worst of Sean on commentary during those days when he was after he relinquished the belt.
They were always talking in code and smartly in ways to bury the other people, just like Hangman did that promo where he's talking in code to really make it hit for the people that knew.
Sunny days ain't exactly code, but yeah, I get you mean. Yeah, I get you mean.
And we see the people who Hangman Page came up under are people that do this shit all the time, like Kenny Omega. And then CM Punk has a good cry publicly and on these people, and it's just like, I can't believe this. It's like he's trying to fuck the money. He's talking about $1 million gates being jeopardized. $1 billion TV deals are at stake right now. Like, this company looks like shit is off like the reservation right now, and it's like, I can't believe this is happening. The Elite were scheduled to speak at this thing, but were blocked from doing so. So once again,
were they blocked? Yes. Or were they like, hey, we ain't trying to do this?
They were canceled. They were canceled.
Oh, I figured they may have canceled. They were like, we gonna be too busy trying to whoop CM Punk's ass to be trying to do a fucking scrum. For what? We need to run off this adrenaline before we come in public. Nah, we need to stomp this dude out first.
Yeah, man. Like, he basically like, they block him. So that takes me back a couple months where I'm seeing FTR up there with Tony Khan, and they're giving Jim Cornette hand jobs in public, saying Jim Cornette can say what he likes about the promotion and all this other shit. And it's like, how much more is the Elite going to be disrespected in public like this? Like, and then I'm thinking about, damn, man, we talked about Triple H taking over, and I'm like, like, and looking at when the contracts are up and thinking about the way sides are being taken here. Like, if you're the elite, how can you feel comfortable TK's like, or you haven't lost his ear at this point, and you may be looking for a way out at this point, which would be awful on many levels.
It'd be all for your agendas. It definitely would be. That would hurt. That would hurt.
Like, I don't know how I would continue like doing this anymore. Like, and it's just like,
wait. So, okay. So hold on. But okay, what are we talking about here?
Like, if CM Punk is like forcing the elite out of AEW, what? Like, I don't even know how to quantify that. How do I? No.
So like, and if they went to WWE, is what you're saying?
Oh yeah, that would be like really bad and awful. Like, I would not want to watch it, cover it, partake in it, anything. Like, I'm good. And then like
WWE so much.
Fuck them. I don't fuck with them. Like, I'm a fan of the elite. I've been a fan of the elite.
But not if they go to WWE.
It's not them. Like, it's not a referendum on them. It's like they let CM Punk run this shit out, and it's like I don't have any interest in that. Like, and
I don't think any of this actually happening. I think it's all overblown because there was a fist fight and like whatever. But yeah, like
bro,
the idea that CM Punk gets runs three of the four original EVPs out their own fucking promotion would be fucking hilarious to me. You can't get hold like that, man. Look, are you the EVP or are you a do boy? Pick one. You can't get hold off your own spot. You just can't.
Right, and it's like, are they EVPs? It's like, well, they're not allowed to answer this guy in public. They're not allowed to confront him in private because they quote unquote look like bullies. Like, what's the deal here? And then we get into the actual skirmish of all this shit, and it's like, let's see. So, hold on, I got a story here. So, Punk allegedly started things by swinging at Matt Jackson. Then Ace Steel apparently threw a chair and hit Nick Jackson in the eye. And then he allegedly bit Kenny Omega and grabbed his hair.
Wait. Hold on. How did Ace Steel get the ability to the timing to where there's multiple people around? He's able to throw a chair with accuracy to incapacitate Nick Jackson, or at least strike Nick Jackson with a chair, and then also be able to put his fucking canines and clamp down on Kenneth Omega. Who the fuck is this guy? Is he a Navy SEAL? I didn't know who the fuck this guy was 8 days ago.
Yeah.
What's happening?
And it's like, nah, man. Like,
should he be AEW World Champion after that promo? This kind of ability? Why is he not the AEW World Champion?
Yeah, man.
How come he's not facing CM Punk for another $1 million gate? What's going on? What's happening?
Like, this is all time awful. Like, this is all time awful as far as like
awful
backstage.
Or just embarrassing. I think it's more embarrassing.
Embarrassing. Like, just like terrible look for the promotion. Like,
as far as
no one.
Do you think this is going to ruin the company?
This looks horrible.
Do you think they won't be able to? So you think like this is now going to affect their ratings in a negative way, and also affect their buy rate in a negative way going forward?
I think people are interested in watching them fight, right? But
no, because I get where you're going, but like, my thing is, the whole thing is like, they could do that, but it could also, there's so much goddamn talent, they can all just basically isolate themselves into their own foreign lands. And doesn't that fucking suck?
And these people don't ever work with each other. And then eventually it's like, well, like, it's like, why are we EVPs then? Like, what are we doing here? And then like, eventually someone leaves.
If they're EVPs, that means that like this would be their decision, not CM Punk's necessarily. Do you think Kenny Omega or Nick or Matt Jackson want to wrestle CM Punk right fucking now? I don't think so. That's right, man. My fantasy of seeing of thinking of what Kenny Omega has planned down the road with like Will Ospreay and potentially going back to New Japan. You think he wants to all of a sudden mix it up with CM pull up? I don't think so.
I don't think
CM politics.
I don't think he would want to be underneath CM Punk.
That was already going to happen, whether or not they were okay or not. It's just, or they're going to be 1A, 1B based off of the part where like they're both top draws. One is proven to be a bigger draw at the time right now than the other one. That is what it is. But like that was the case with like Moxley too. Like there was and also Jericho. Like it is what it is. Like, there's a group of people that are at this certain level, and they do business with each other or they do not.
It's amazing. No one's ever had a problem doing business with each other until now. No one's ever had an issue working together until now.
We don't know that.
It's like,
actually,
look at the results.
I mean, one guy went over to the E at WrestleMania. It was over like a god that didn't want to work with the other guy. So, I mean, there is something to that already existing. We just didn't hear no stories about them not wanting to work with each other. So, I mean, it's kind of already been there for people plotting their own courses as top guys in AEW.
I feel like I've seen everybody but that guy work with each other. So, and do jobs for each other.
I don't disagree. So, I'm just saying the unknowns, we don't know that. We're just we're assuming that in good faith, but like, it's pro wrestling. There's plenty of people that don't want to work with other people and they just happen not to, and we never find out about it. Yeah, or work with other people very minimally. That's pro wrestling is people not like each other and eventually getting in the ring once or twice every so often and move on. That's been the case for our whole lives. Except for this little bit of time recently.
I think this is embarrassing for the company. I think this is embarrassing for Tony Khan. I feel like no one respects him. No one. This is trying someone to the utmost degree. He needs to. I can't even say put all these guys in a room. Right, because
last time he was in a room, they fought.
I can't even say that, and it's like, it's unbelievable, like how far it's gotten, like this far, and it's like, where did all this go wrong? There are a lot of people that are sad about this. I hear backstage, that great environment that was built up forever, gone, up in smoke, flames right now, and. Last night, I wanted the Elite to get on the podium very badly for about 90 minutes. I was like, they got to respond. Like, they got to let them respond. And then I thought about it more, and I was like, well, that's another thing they can't win because they're executives, and then they'll be yelling at, like, the quote-unquote person that's working for them in public. So I was like, well, I guess it was better they didn't get a chance to go do that.
There was no BTE this week?
No BTE came out today.
They'll get mics eventually, so whatever. They'll say what they have to say.
Because no one's been allowed to respond to CM Punk at all. Like, do we ever get to see Heyman Page talk? No.
Adam Page doesn't like to do talking much anyway, so it is what it is with him. Like I can't with Adam Page, like I can't expect him to do whatever. Like he's wishy-washy, like with the passive aggressive thing. And then like if you're gonna get anybody to say anything, it'll be Kenny Omega. Like Kenny Omega did, like after sticking up for Adam Page the other week.
Yeah, and he basically like that other week promo where he was talking about as long as we're here, this is gonna be like a genuine, authentic Elite performance. We're not here to we're not here like about this money. We're about this legacy. We're not trying to be anybody else. This is not a tribute act. All this other shit, and I felt like that was clearly aimed in the Punk direction.
Yeah, he was sticking up for Adam Page because, like I said, Adam Page doesn't do much of the talking, except his slices, which he actually is good at, but he doesn't do it.
If Ace Steel is throwing chairs at people and he's like a producer and shit, he has to be fired.
Yeah, immediately.
He has to go.
Immediately. Should have been fired last night, that's the case.
And then it's like, well, when you fire him, CM Punk immediately walks out, right?
Not necessarily. He can be pissed though, because like Shawn Michaels didn't like ask to be fired or actually he did ask for his release after Nash and what's his name go, but like they did the same thing that like the Lakers did with Kobe in 2007 and like what the Nets just did with Durant. It was like, you're mad, you're upset, we're not gonna let you go, you're gonna have to come back, and he's like, they're gonna be pissed and they eventually just come back. So it is what it is. Like, they don't have to wrestle. Like, and I understand the idea that sucks, and that you can see that people don't want to wrestle each other. But like, I mean, if we were to go back over the time frame of certain things, we can see a bunch of people not wanting to work with other people all the time. Besides what we already know from, you know, things like like torches and observers. It is what it is. I just thought Punk was just like, I think it was wild that like as you mentioned, like super unprofessional, and like also a part that I can mention that nearly enough is like, there's clearly like people like you mentioned like the cuckolding thing with Khan. Like clearly there's been a lot of venting and frustration from Punk that Khan has heard and has like absorbed, and like this is clearly not the first time he's heard this spiel, because the way he's sitting there and like even nodding in agreement at times with some of this stuff, and I'm just like, whether he knows it subconsciously or consciously or not, like him nodding in the background in the background while Punk's in the foreground, lambasting the whole entire upper middle management is like, yo, bro, this sounds like you're co-signing this, and these are also your frustrations as well. And I was like, hey, bro, you might look. I know you tried to pull it back on the road, and he pulled it back off. At that point, you know what you do? You just press the emergency brakes. And then you put it in park and you turn it off and say, we're not doing this anymore. You can't just let him just continue to go on for 20 some minutes. Like, that was 1,000 bars. That was 1,000 bars.
Just like he let FTR go on that fucking tangent or whatever. Like, it's the same shit. It's like, where's the loyalty here for your executives and the people you started this company with? Like, for the 43-year-old, like who's going to be around longer? Like, what are we doing here? So I would wonder which way the locker room is leaning on this. I imagine CM Punk's a lonely man. Yeah, this is really one of the biggest stories of I would say in wrestling, like that's ever happened. Yeah, like the head of talent relations, Christopher Dam. Good point, sir. Who the fuck do you think? Whose side is he on? Like, shit's fucked up right now. Like, and like,
he's probably good because he's known Punk forever through Ring of Honor and shit.
Man, it's Frankie's on Twitter already slamming Punk. Trent, Daniel Garcia, Matt Hardy, and like 10, 15 people co-signing the Elite, and nothing from Punk. From Retrogram. Yeah, man, this sucks all around. Like, and it's like, and it feels like it's a matter of time before someone's gone. So, and I hope it's not the Elite personally. But that would be tragic, I think.
Yeah, I had I think it was Ryan Evans. He messaged me and he asked me like, when I watch I don't know if you had talked to him or what you were tweeting, because I hadn't seen. I just saw a bunch of shenanigans on my timeline and jokes. But he had asked me if I would still watch AEW if the Elite were to leave, and I was like, yeah, I don't care where they wrestle. Like, they can wrestle in they can wrestle in WWE. They can go back to New Japan. They look. You know, good. It's a good thing that Tony Khan has 2 wrestling promotions in it. Why can't he just go to Ring of Honor and just get them a time slot?
Foolish.
But yeah, it's like, no, I'm not gonna stop watching All Elite Wrestling just because it becomes no Elite Wrestling. There's no elite niggas there. Like, nah, they still got Danielson and Punk and Moxley and Jericho and MJF. They have too many stars in this right now. Like, I don't have the Young Bucks are one of my favorite tag teams of all time, and Kenny Omega's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Like, somewhere when we do the top 20 list this year, he'll be for the 10-year anniversary, he'll be in it. But like, I don't have like I'm not on the Brock Lesnar or Vince McMahon thing. Like, if they go, I'm going too. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, there's still plenty of great wrestling there if they were to leave. And at times this year, there was them gone plus more people going. They still kept this thing going. Like, so, and they still had great shows throughout. So like, that's not going to necessarily be my thing or whatever else. I do agree that it would stink that like the name of the fucking company is All Elite Wrestling and there literally is no Elite Wrestling if that were the case. But I don't think we're that far gone, at least not yet. So I haven't even put my mind to that. But, It would be fucking hilarious for all this to come back, and for all of the game to come back to Triple H. Oh, that would be fucking hilarious. People would be so sick because they hate Triple H so much. And look, I'm in that camp too. But boy, that man said it's not a marathon, it's a sprint. And boy, that would be a hell of a catch up. That definitely would be.
Yeah, that would be like
WrestleMania be lit though.
Man, that would be. I hope you would enjoy it.
Yeah, right. Like you wouldn't watch no damn WrestleMania with Kenny Omega in it. Stop lying.
I'm good. But apparently,
look, you watch. Look, hold on. You mean to tell me that you will watch WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns the 49th time? Except this time it's for real. Except not really. Because they did it 4 months later. But you want to watch Kenny Omega versus Roman Reigns? Nah, I ain't believing you, Rich. I'm not. Just not doing it. Not going there with you. I'm not believing you on that one. Just not.
Yeah, I would have significantly less interest in the promotion if the Elite left, because they essentially, like, they've created this thing, like, outside of WWE and within New Japan and all this stuff, like, we followed for years, and then for it to be over, it'd be like, well, I guess I can get off the bus now, like like I can, I let me off here, let me hit the exit button. So yeah, it's yeah, like the investment that they have is just like, I don't know if anybody else has that same kind of connection that those guys do. Like, and yeah, it's like the Elite's still like the heart sold as shit. Like, it's, like, nah, man. Like I wouldn't. It wouldn't be the same, and it would almost be like, huh, like is it really like that's it? But
I would like them to tell new stories, but outside of that, yeah, I mostly agree with you. Like, now that they're like, I don't know, I guess they're going back into this Adam Page shit again, but like, if there is, or maybe they're still waiting on Adam Cole. Do we know what's wrong with Adam Cole?
Last I knew, I thought he had a concussion, but I don't know. I don't know what further is wrong with him. So
we haven't seen him since Forbidden Door, right?
Yeah.
No, well,
he did that promo.
The angle. Yeah.
And let's see. Yeah, but like, I don't know, to turn that shit back over to CM Punk, and then like the promotion like being built in his image, like, I'm good off of that. Like, it's wrestling of the past, and it's just like his whole thing. He started going on about, hey man, why wouldn't he ask for advice for older wrestlers and stuff like that? I'm like,
was he actually talking about Hangman, or was he talking about MJF? I couldn't tell.
No,
at that point, just pronouns.
No, he was talking about Hangman. He's talked about this before. Hangman's like gone on record and says he doesn't really take advice from veterans and stuff like that. And I'm like, I mean, it's his right. Like, I could remember when CM Punk was that age too, him not listening to people. So, and
well, I think that his point is
having to drop world titles to the Undertaker and shit. And
I think there's a difference between when CM Punk is talking about between like taking some advice from certain people and then not taking any advice, period. Like, and I can't speak to, I didn't even know, I figured it was MJF when he was talking about this, but like, if this story is true, like, that is pretty dumb. But whatever, like, Adam Page has done very well for himself, despite like the things that I think he's missing in his game or whatever else, and eventually I guess he'll come up with them, because it's not like a situation where like, he can't do them. We've seen him display these things, except he's displayed them so rarely. But yeah, like, I kind of agree with CM Punk on that, in the idea of like, there's tons of smart people around here that can help you in your game, and you think that you don't need any advice or whatever. It's like, really? No advice? Not even old timers, but your peers? Like, it's weird. But whatever. Like, I originally thought he was talking about CM Punk, but whatever.
I know he does, like Sam said. I know he takes advice from Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, for sure. But yeah, man. Yeah, it's all fucked up. And then like the fall from that, it's like what would you do if you're Tony Khan? Like, how do you settle this?
Oh, you hope that like they remember they're adults at some point, but it's too late for that. Like, think about this.
They had a meeting.
That's what I was getting at. Like 10 days ago, they had a fucking meeting, right? And like it got worse. Immediately, like they let out this, the Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker thing that's been public or went into public. Then the Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara thing that I had no idea about, like came public too. And then Punk was like, this man had plotted this shit out and had been waiting and sitting on this thing. Cause like, it's funny, like,
bro, cause James, I thought the answer was him cutting the promo and it was supposed to be even there.
Check this out, right? So I thought it was hilarious because like, he's been playing this shit ever since he came back. That is what he's going to do. Like when he did the promo thing, in West Virginia, and then like he knew he was gonna, be at the end of the press conference scrum in Chicago. He'd been waiting 3 weeks for this shit, right? Or weeks, or however many weeks, rehab and all that kind of stuff. And, like, I think the thing, I lost my train of thought of where I was going to go with this, but, yeah, like, I just think that he's had this thing planned for a minute. Oh, I know what I'm saying, like, Bixenspan showed or tweeted about this thing and said, this is unhinged behavior, and I was like, I watched it, I was like, bro, he sat there while eating cookies and drinking some type of seltzer water or whatever the hell it was, and talking about this, and like he only raised his voice one time in the 23 minutes. That is the opposite of unhinged. Like this ain't like the Bears who we thought they were, and that's why we took the damn field. This isn't John Chaney challenging John Calipari to a fucking fight after a Big Ten game, like or Big East game. Like that's not, or sorry, Atlantic 10 game. Like that's unhinged. This was not unhinged. This was like clearly somebody that knew what they were going to do, and like even all the questions and everything was going to steer it towards this because he felt the need to get this whole thing out. And then at the end of it, when like he talked about like I've held on to all this stuff for so long, and then he fucking just destroys Colt Cabana and says that man, like this man has made so it's gotten so much money.
You know what that sounds like, James?
It was a complete CM politics. Totally, that whole thing was a whole
sounds
job.
Like a sociopath, James.
I don't think it's sociopath.
Someone that sat on all this and planned out all these specific points and times to do these certain things that he knows inflammatory and is going to lead to a big type of chaos. That sounds sociopathic. This wasn't a snap decision that was made in the moment by CM Punk.
Yeah, it totally wasn't. Like, there's no way you had all that. No way. No, he clearly was playing. I would say it was calculated. I'm gonna go sociopathic or whatever. But yeah, because sociopathic, I think that's like actually like dangerous. Like he just blowing that man's brains out in the street. Like that's, I don't think it's that far. But yeah, he clearly like was sitting on this thing and stewing this thing for however long. I don't know how many years, how many months, how many weeks, whatever else. But like once he brought up that, but clearly like that was a sore spot for him that whole time. And whatever else, and then like them dudes thought that like CM Punk got him out of there, and whether or not that's true or not, that pissed CM Punk off to outrageous proportions, and we are here now today. And like I said, this whole thing comes down to like you don't know this fucking guy. Don't be like and I gotta say, if I was in his perspective, right, and I'm and let's say like we take some of the CM Punk stuff at face value, right, or whatever else. I had this bad falling out with a good friend of mine, and that shit hurts and it sucks, and like I've lost this person or whatever else, and that fucking sucks, and now like I hate that person. Part of it means like I hate part of myself now, and the time I spent and wasting investing in this person, and for that shit to get brought up, like that has to be infuriating, regardless of CM Punk's situation or whatever else. Like I get that, but you don't do that. you don't just go out there. And like he talked about the things that Adam Page really did, and honestly, like I'm with him on the part where like that was stupid, and the whole milling the babyface thing, you're milling the top babyface thing. I get that, or whatever else, but what CM Punk is doing in retaliation is far more rude, cruel, and calculating and damaging than what Page did. And now we're at the point where it's like, all right, Punk, you said your piece, fucking enough. Like, move on. Don't work with these guys. Don't even say hi. Don't even look in the direction when you're walking through the airport. It doesn't matter. Move on at this point. Because, like, either that or somebody has to go. And I don't mean like right
Or
now,
fight.
like in the next few months, whatever else, but like if this keeps going down the track it's going without somebody saying enough and they actually stick to it and there's a truce or peace or peace call on all this shit, like somebody's gonna have to go.
Yeah, and all it does is make the company look bad, like in all respects. Like, and it's like it's bad for the optics.
I think that's overstated though. Like I think that like we're gonna see.
You look like a minor league clown show doing this.
I think you like professional wrestling.
I disagree.
Like I think so. You think they're not going to do a huge rating on this Wednesday?
I don't think that's necessarily even pertinent to this. Like, of course they're going to do a big rating. MJF just came back. They're fresh off this pay per view. They have
don't even do that. Ain't nobody talking about no damn MJF right now.
They will be.
We are at minute 46. We have talked about MJF one time in passing because of what Punk said. They are not tuning in to seeing CM Punk MJF come next. So they're gonna be like, what the hell's going on with the Elite and CM Punk after this? And one of them two have to start the show with a promo or something.
More information here, James. Where it looks like PW Insider noted FTR left the building by then, posted on Twitter. They were bonding over... wrong note. We're told Ace Steel shoot crack Nick Jackson with a chair. Another person saying they think he's lucky to not be in jail. Several sources in AEW that we spoke with believe that Ace Steel will not be back in the company after this incident. PWI Insider.
It's one thing when the wrestlers are fighting. It's another thing when someone in upper management is fighting. And I guess you could be like, well, they're also EVP, blah 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 blah. But like, nah, they're wrestlers first. They would not have them jobs if not for their wrestling ability. Period. So like. You can say that if you want to, but if there was a choice of them being a player as a coach, they're damn sure will be players before they'll ever be coaches.
PWI Insider noted that Steele's wife was said to have been around caring for CM Punk's dog. The story of Nick Jackson having a black eye came from Steele throwing a chair at him. Yeah, but unbelievable.
Hey, Steele. Grand opening, grand closing. What a great introduction and what a great goodbye. What an amazing 15 minutes of fame, don't you think?
Fucked up the bag in a heartbeat. So let's see, like what we got here.
Hey, still became legendary.
Tons of comments in the section. I'm gonna
Ace got that dog in him.
You said what?
He said Ace got that dog in him.
Yazora Hart says, let's see.
Shit.
Oh, Retrogram, excuse me. The problem ain't Punk's points, is the form that he's airing them out in. He needs to shut the fuck up publicly.
I agree.
Ludin's exactly. Yazora Hart, I think it's fine to think Hangman is wrong. I don't think I'd be burying him on live TV over it, though. Air Freddy, yeah, Phil Brooks famously won't hold a grudge about any of this. It's over. It was extremely premeditated. He went right for the reporter. Crudler, beef plus squashed. Air Freddy, he had that shit loaded up. Brent and Roses, actually, that's kind of unhinged, like in a different way.
When I think unhinged, I'm thinking like, oh my God, he's got a knife. Like when I think of unhinged, that's what I'm thinking of. But maybe we're working on different terms for that, because like I feel like a lot of the stuff when people talk about people having meltdowns, like, and I'll see the response like, nah, that's not necessarily. I feel like you're overstating that to build, to hype it up as opposed to what it actually is.
Retrogram, the funny thing about Punk is that if the worst is true and the Elite are leaking slanderous shit, which Punk himself admitted he has no proof of, still doesn't justify throwing chairs and biting and swinging at niggas.
It don't.
Ain't no angle where he's in the right with the current details that have been out. Diego Garcia, this shit was planned. Zekumaki, he was too Pusha T about it. Air Freddy, the fat dude in Chicago chanting Colt Cabana set his ass off. Yes, that did happen last week. And I believe that once they go out of Chicago's city limits. A lot of Colt Cabana chants are going to be headed his direction. And, you know, CM Punk is going to deal with them how he deals with them, which may or may not be yelling at thousands of fans individually and blowing up his entire babyface character. Who knows?
Well, at this point, if he's going to stick around, he needs to turn heel eventually anyway. So,
he can never be. Like, I think he's done in this town as a babyface. Like, I think all the people he's ran afoul of, like, he's going to get buried.
I would say once he gets past MJF, yeah. Because MJF is like people did the natural thing of like MJF's back after a few weeks, anti-salesman, whatever else. Is like, do you understand that like that dude is an amazing bastard? He'll cut that shit off in like one day, and he'll be back to only getting cheered in like tri-state New York.
Yeah. Let's see. Yuzuru Hart Bucks might have complained to people about Colt, and they can be seen as wrong for that. But you can't be swinging chairs and biting motherfuckers. Air Freddy, nobody even knew what the fuck Paige did. They thought it was nonsense. LMAO. Sam, he's like, he's going to get Colt Cabana a chance when he shows up in the ring. Diego says, just put the belt on to Kestra when he's back. Retrogram says, this is historically professional ratings, but modern wrestling is supposed to be moving beyond backstage assault, or professional wrestling, excuse me. But it's supposed to be moving beyond backstage assault. Ace got that dog in, as you mentioned. Bucks and Phil having a slap fight, and Grandpa tries to kill the merch freak. After all this, that shot that Tony gave Thunder goes under the radar. I didn't even notice it when I was watching. I only heard
the thing that I watched that too. I only saw the thing that Tony Khan gave. Oh, he means Tony Tony Storm, not Tony Khan. My bad. Okay.
Brenton Rose's Punk complained that the Bucks spreading the Colt rumor was making the promotion's number one babyface look bad. Then what the fuck was what he did to Hangman?
That was exactly what I was getting at. Like, his whole thing is like, you did this to me, therefore I'm going to do what you did to me, except far worse, because like I'm a bigger star to you and I have more credibility than you, and I'm going to hurt you. So that's what I mean by him being cruel and calculated while doing all this. Like, he's trying to hurt Paige worse than Paige ever hurt Punk, even potentially.
Yeah.
He's doing this on purpose. He's being a dick. He is taking a sledgehammer to an ant fight, or anthill. That's what he's doing.
Yuzuru Hart, where's Punk in wrestling if not for the elite starting the company? Nowhere. Yeah. I don't know. The stuff that I was like really passionate in professional wrestling about, it had nothing to do with people hating each other this last decade. Like, it had to do with like competitive athletes and good storylines and incredible matches. Like, this shit is like disheartening for me at this point, and seeing if it's just gonna blow up this thing I'm a really big fan of, I'm not with it, and it's unfortunate if it goes that direction.
Yeah, I think that AEW's weathers the storm, whether or not it's Punk eventually leaves, or unfortunately if they were to leave. But like, ultimately, like, AEW's still gonna be around. They're still gonna have a number of stars. They're still going to put on good television. They're still going to have good ratings. They're still going to have good pay-per-view buy rates, and like, with or without CM Punk, or with or without the Elite. And like, it kind of sucks that like people are that like important, but like you can still plug and play at this point. But like, that's the amount of talent that AEW has managed to, have managed to stack up over the past 4 years or so. Like, I was talking about this with earlier, or with Caleb, right? As far as him saying that, like, CM Punk, as the stuff was coming out last night, you say CM Punk is like, he's not, I think he said a word, he's not essential, or he's not replaceable, or he's not irreplaceable. I was like, bro, like, we just had like 9 months with no Kenny Omega, and over that time with no Kenny Omega, we had no Cody, no Danielson, no Moxley at different points, no Cole, or whatever else. Like, that's not a point that really matters. Like, they have managed to like assimilate so much talent. No Jericho as well. Like, they have managed to add so much talent. Like, if they have somebody leaving, they can still make it work, and they still have a group of people underneath that can level up to that, right? Like, so I'm not concerned that in that particular reality were to occur, but like it would suck because obviously it's called All Elite Wrestling for a reason. Like they're like when Tony Khan would have started this shit, he called Jericho, he called the Elite, and he called Jim Ross to start this shit. Like there was a reason for that. Like there were new fresh acts or whatever else that had been like stale or whatever else ran into the ground from WWE main roster or whatever else, and they were drawing big houses on their own. Like the All Out thing was its own thing, and they could do this, and it was a whole bunch of fresh energy for all those people. So that would suck for that to come to an end, but like AEW will still exist, and you can't take, even if they were to leave, like you can't take, same thing with Cody, like you can't take what they did to him. Like they're always going to be like in the history of the company, unless Tony Khan turns to Vince McMahon and just starts pretending like shit didn't exist. But like outside of that, Cody's always going to be baked into being the DNA of AEW, just like Kenny Omega or Jericho or even Ross. So that it is what it is. But I just think that I think that's overstated, and there's still a ways to go before we reach to that level of to where like I like folks gotta start scrapping every other week for me to start thinking that's gonna happen. So I don't think we're there yet.
Aren't they doing that? Like
every other week?
I mean, Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara was just had it.
I mean CM Punk or the Elite. I didn't mean like there's a like I didn't mean like this shit turns into Death Row in the 90s, bitch. I didn't mean that. But yes, like, if they do start fighting every so often, then they still need to start bringing guns and knives. You know what? Let's call up the Undertaker so he can feel right at home in the AEW locker room.
Apparently, that's the real war zone. If you want to be a real tough guy in the business, you go to AEW now. Noted tough guy Matt Jackson. On you boys.
I thought everybody says that man that's like his brother say that he can't fight or he won't fight. Well, like he got to fight. I think committing to CM Punk is like I think it's lunacy to compete or commit yourself to him long term. Capitulate. Like that's the word he's looking for.
Or I was saying to commit yourself to him.
Gotcha. My bad.
Long term, just because of his age and his volatility. But like, because it's like I until he started doing this, like. I wasn't hearing about people fighting, and all this stuff. Wasn't hearing about, the locker room. Like there was like all this great energy that was around AEW that people for some reason were desperate for it to go away, to get past it, to do whatever. And it's like, bro, as long as they made that like kind of last, it was like that shit like that. It made for better wrestling. It made for a better company. And it's just like it's like this Wild West now. So I think it's changed.
So do you think their on-air product has gotten worse? Well, aside from Rampage, that's injuries. But like aside, like, do you think their Dynamites have gotten worse now?
I don't think the Dynamites have gotten worse. What I'm saying is like it seems like the feeling like around the company like is changing. And with everyone back now. The spots that were, they were grooming people during the summer, trying to elevate people. It's like we think they have too many people still. Those 3 hours are still those 3 hours. And then like the bullshit of fallout of this. And then now you got to work all these people back in. You're going to be suspending people, I would assume, in the fallout of this. And it's just going to be like a black cloud on the promotion. And, if it all goes bad, right. We're gonna look at this like, yeah, this was not like this was when we should have known something was up, and it's like it's just like it's bad, man. Lanza put it. It's a pro wrestling company now. I think James said the same thing earlier on this. Yeah, like losing the Elite is not only losing the Elite, like the Joshis wouldn't be there, Takeshita wouldn't be there, the international influence, like it's a.
To be fair, like we don't really get the Joshis nowadays, no way, anyway, except for on Dark. So, Takeshita, that was up, but Takeshita's not here right now. He'll be back. What, October? They said something like that. October.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, we still got the Forbidden Door. We still got all that stuff. We still got tons of great stuff from all these wrestlers and whatever else. Like, there's still stuff for them to do, even if like CM Punk and the Elite aren't even interacting, and they're probably not, because like you got CM Punk right now as AEW World Champion. You have the Elite as the AEW World Trios Champion. So like there's no time for them to interact with each other. They're not going to be around each other for like 6 months, if that. And like 6 months is plenty of time, because like, you know, people talk of, I kind of, you know how like pro wrestling is a lot like, it's like a TV show, it's a lot like sports, but at the same time, like, because they're neither, like, there's something, they're kind of both in both, but not really. Like, the idea of like the locker room, for example, like, right, like in some places, like, you see the stuff and you hear about like their locker room, right? You hear about like Danielson talking about crazy shit, like, oh yeah, you know, they make these jokes about penis and stuff, and then like Swerve will be like, yeah, they do eye roll emoji, and it's like, yeah, bro, like, that's the quote unquote dreaded locker room talk that Donald Trump was trying to talk about back in 2016. But also at the same time, is like, from a different perspective, is like, hey bro, y'all shouldn't be talking like that to each other at all.
Bingo.
Right. So like the idea of like, if this was a sports team in an actual locker room, like people scrap all the time. Like that's what the start of most training camps most weeks are. Like, you got about a week before like people start fighting each other. People get sick and tired of being in that hot sun and people doing things they don't agree with. In this, the fists start flying at helmets because we're all idiots. That's what it is. People get over that kind of stuff, but like this isn't nearly as how do I say this? This is a very self-involved business, right? Like, your interests are first and foremost, you're trying to put yourself over in the most positive spotlight. The teeniest slight will set you over. We've seen this over and over again for decades of people with large egos and you know, and fragile self-esteem. So like, it's not exactly quite the same thing. So maybe like it can't heal like a locker room where someone has a big fight and then it blows over, or like somebody says something and like it blows over. Like, you think of all the times like there's been like people like like, for example, NBA stuff. All the years we heard back in the day, like during the Spurs dynasty or Spurs run of titles or whatever else, were like, you hear that like Greg Popovich was like incredibly hard on Tony Parker, right? And then like, but he got over it, right? Like, he used that to mold him into becoming a better player. It is what it is. Like, and then you see people like just pack up when, you know, there's any bit of criticism like a Ben Simmons. Like, we don't know how this is going to go, but like, sometimes you say things about your teammates or whatever else, and then like there's heat, there's smoke and all that kind of stuff, and then like eventually people get over it because like we're all stuck together. So we'll see how this goes. Like, and that's what I went back. That's when I mentioned the Kobe Lakers thing and the Durant Nets thing just now, because like people don't always want to stick. People want to get out, and then eventually somebody says no, and then they're stuck, and then they come back, and then it's smooth. Then they have to. They have to say they have to either get over, or they have to say their I'm sorry's or accept people's apologies and move on, move forward. So we'll see. There's always room for them to come back. I know CM Punk last night said we're past apologies. Maybe that's definitely how he feels tonight. Who knows how it goes in the future? We'll see. But it was a big night, and now we're like an hour and we're still talking about CM Punk, CM pull up, CM politics. It's crazy. Do you want to talk about the pro wrestling now?
Lothario Negro, the vibes are gone, the stars are here, the money's on the line. Now it's just people crying about pushes and snitching to SRS every day.
I mean, that's been going on since like we had Evilise in and out. Like, that stuff's always been there on the periphery. People just didn't want to hear it. People didn't care. Now that we're here now people are like, oh my God, it's something. That shit was always kind of happening. Always.
Noted chill low-key guy who gets over slights, CM Punk. That's a good one. Sam. Yeah, just a lot, man. A lot. And I hope the right decisions are made in the outset, because like a message got to get sent for like TK got to step up and be the boss of this shit and really like set the tone for what the fuck this is about to be.
Like, hey, y'all can hate each other you want to. Don't bring that shit out in public. But then again, Jericho just fucking did that apparently 10 days ago, and we're right now. Apparently, the message was not received, or the message was received and then ignored. It's one of those two. No other options between those two.
Also, Chris Jericho setting himself up to be Tony Khan's Pat Patterson.
I mean that. Yeah.
He sees the writing on the wall. He's definitely not going to be Triple H's Pat Patterson. Let's see. Because like, and I say that because like everyone was kind of wondering like where all the locker room falls and stuff like that. I'm like, and I had seen people wonder who Jericho was with. I was like, he's with Tony.
Yeah. That man's been around too long for him to be out here, you know. Like I'm sure like he has heard both sides of this shit, from CM Punk's side and from the Elite side, and at the end of the day, that man's like, okay, like y'all kids need to knock that shit off, and then went back to collecting his checks.
I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 cents?
A true worker.
So, yeah. So let's get to AEW All Out. I would say a very good show. Not a great show. I don't think it's a show of the year contender or anything. I would probably go like, you know, like between 7.5 to 8 out of 10, maybe at the most. But I'll take you guys through the ladder match. So this casino ladder match was all over the place. Like they were trying to like set things up with the ladder. It was like kind of going not so well. I didn't really like anything aside from like Pentagon and Phoenix doing stuff to people. And then, you know, the whole time it just kind of felt sloppy and rushed and didn't really have a flow. Towards the end, eventually, as you mentioned, all the guys in the mask come out, and it is everyone that Stokely Hathaway has been recruiting. It is W. Morrissey. It is Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty with dyed hair. And then
dyed what color?
I believe it's blonde, if I'm not mistaken.
This man out here looking like Wesley Snipes and Demolition Man.
Yes. But they Stokely Hathaway climbs the ladder, grabs the chip, unveils himself as Stokely Hathaway, and I'm like, immediately, it's MJF. And then
because they used to be together on the Indies, right?
Yep. And like my mind starts going, right? And then the Rolling Stones' Sympathy for the Devil plays, which people tell me is very expensive music.
It is. You want to know how expensive it is? I think I can think of like maybe like an episode of Scrubs, and maybe like one or two other things where I've actually heard it dropped in like, you know, some type of media.
Okay, it was green. He had Frank Ocean hair, Lethero Negro was saying. So maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me.
Oh, wow. What kind of green? Was it like a lime green, or was it like a forest green, or was it...
let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments while you continue on. I need to know what kind of green, what kind of shade of green this was.
A gentleman walks out.
Oh, no. This boy's out here.
Yeah, lime. Yeah. A gentleman walks out with a mask on his face, and he's walking in the ring. I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then like he basically climbs the ladder, or excuse me, he gets in, he's handed the chip, and then I look at the fucking pants, and I'm like, it's MJF, because I can tell the way the pants are cut over the shoes, and it looks like he's ready for rain. Like, it's MJF. And then I think everyone else, you know, kind of knows the way he was walking. And it was like some Ric Flair Black Scorpion shit. Like, it was like, oh, all these mannerisms are clearly MJF. And just like the Black Scorpion was clearly Ric Flair. Bruh. Like, it's the same shit. Like,
I made the same joke about a Black Scorpion thing to Dan last night. I had no idea any of this shit happened. I just like, it's fucking it's some Black Scorpion shit. Whatever this is. Exactly what I said.
So I didn't think the ladder match was good at all, but it was all about the angle here.
It wasn't even good until the angle happened.
It wasn't really anything to write home about.
That's shocking with a ladder match with Andrade and Phoenix and Pentagon and Dante Martin. That's shocking.
Yeah. Phoenix and Pentagon were great. Everyone else, they just kind of hung out. But it worked for me. Like when I realized what was happening and I knew it was MJF, I was like, I can shoot him some bail because they're clearly got something going on, and it's where I'm thinking like, well, if MJF just comes back and he's a regular wrestler, it doesn't quite work for me. But they assembled this unit, which I admittedly dumped on because I was just looking at the guys, but not realizing it would be MJF that can lead them. I'm like, MJF can do anything.
Well, we were talking about this like. Because we didn't do the... at some point, we were talking about this in one of the last few shows. We were like, bro, this show... like this faction is missing a top guy at the top of it. Like, and then they added Morrissey. He's like, okay, well, he's muscle. Right? Lee Moriarty, he's a wrestler. Like, the Ass Boys, whatever. They're a tag team. Like, they're a low-stakes tag team. Like, where is, the top guy that you'd be like... Yeah, Stokely is managing that fucking guy, and that makes sense for a guy as talented as Stokely to be managing. And, it turns out it's, the guy he was doing the indies with before. It is funny, because, I forgot how many years, it's 2018 or something. I saw a match. This is actually, the time I even came across Stokely halfway. So this might be, 2019 something, right? So, I see him in this, goofy, parking garage match with Orange Cassidy, and the next thing I look after watching that is, a match where, he has to face Nick Gage, and I guess it's in, AEW, maybe? And he has to face Nick Gage, and, at ringside is MJF, upset that his manager is getting fucking destroyed by Nick Gage. And, it was funny just watching the fucking guy get destroyed, because obviously he's gonna get destroyed. And, flash forward, and now, it's all come together, and it's thank you. Now I finally this is the guy that Stokely should be with. It makes all this a guy that he's already have history with on the indies and all that kind of stuff. So it's perfect marriage for me.
With Cass, those are both New York guys. They've got a big show in New York coming. I don't know what the unit will be called, but I'm optimistic about it, to say the least. AEW World Trios. Yeah. AEW World Trios title tournament final match. The Elite take on the Dark Order, and these guys do it again. The Elite defeat the Dark Order for the championships. Kenny becomes the first Triple Crown champion in AEW. They announced 4 3/4 on this one for me. Spectacular match, just over 19 minutes. Crowd goes fucking insane when Kenny and Hangman are facing off. Kenny comes out and he has no black thing on. He's jacked. He's greased up and it's man, playing people like a fiddle. I could tell he had additional size and definition underneath that thing. People, I guess, how they look at things, they would think he looks bigger and maybe out of shape. He took that shit off and spent a week on the tanning bed or whatever, and he comes out and he looks in as good a shape as I've seen him in almost since. He's a bigger version of Dominion 2018 he showed up as, and he had the jets. You should be
able to tell when you saw him in the ring with Ospreay last week, or a few days ago, but I guess people didn't catch that.
I was gonna say, if they were still thrown off by the damn thing, this was the way to go here. The Bucks had great gear. Crowd was going nuts for this. This was a really exceptional match. Ends with Hangman Page hitting the buckshot on John Silver by accident. There were some great near falls in this thing. They had you thinking John Silver was going to pin Kenny Omega. Crowd losing their fucking mind. I was like, bro, I saw Kenny do the Terminator dive, and he looked like he cleared that was the dive ain't looked that great in a long time. He was way over the fucking rope, and it was magic pretty much watching him tap into his elite ability, I would say.
It was funny watching the end of this match because I was like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, that's a near fall. And the crowd's losing their shit. All right, that's a near fall. Crowd loses their shit even more. And I'm like, oh, that's the finish. And the crowd loses shit at finish. I was like, I don't know what happened or what was built in this match, but like when I got to it and I saw like last, closing stretch, last, 6 minutes or so of it, I really enjoyed what I saw. And, but like, I was like, they're not pinning Kenny Omega with John Silver. Are you fucking high? What's wrong with you people? Do you not watch this shit? But whatever, they popped for it, they loved it, and I was like, I mean, it was all well done, right? So I can see why people, but I was like, not for a single solitary second did I even like look up. I looked down at my phone because I knew it was gonna happen. So it was like whatever. But yeah, like it was great for what I saw, and I can't wait to catch it. I have it on the hard drive. I had to watch it, fire it up and watch it. Same thing for the ladder match.
Yeah, love this match. Excuse me. Up next, we had the AEW TBS title match. Jade Cargill come out dressed like She-Hulk. She defeats Athena in under 5 minutes.
In particular, She-Hulk. The She-Hulk from like the 90s comic book.
I gotta say, dark-haired Jade Cargill.
Oh, I mean, well, you can put anything on the top of her head. It's gonna work. It's Jade Cargill. I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. And like that does go in line with like she is missing like the silver streak in the 90s Jen Walter hair. But like outside of that, like yeah, that's mostly exactly what Jen Walter looked like, even down to the physique. And so it definitely matched what she was going for. But I just she's always done the cosplay thing. Like she's been dressed as Storm in previous times, Storm from X-Men in previous times. Jade Cargill. She's just I like her thoughts going into what she wants to wear to the ring. I always appreciate that. And then she had the match, and like I thought the match for only 4 minutes was all right. I just thought that they would have done, given that like they've been trying to ever since Athena came in, they were going to do a match. It seemed like they were going to try to make this a special showcase match for Jade to show her progress to people, especially because she's in there with one of the best women's wrestlers of America in there, and or workers anyway. And like it was just like, let's put it on and get it done with. And I was surprised by that.
Yeah, they did like a kind of a thing where it seemed like it was going to be a squash, but they did the ring pull out. Deal. There was that drop kick that Athena gave Layla Gray on the outside. She fucking destroyed her with that shit. But yeah, this was Jade time all day. Leave it on her until just keep letting her get better. So can we send her to Micah and Omega, please? So let's see. Then we had a 6-man tag, FTR and Wardlow against Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns.
I'm sorry, but I just thought the idea of Jade Cargill being in Stardom and then seeing Julia's hair and I'm just like, that's our conversation. I don't want Jade to have to deal with that conversation because I don't even want to have that fucking conversation.
So this match was aight.
They weren't trying to have a great match. Like, let me phrase this. Because of the elements involved with it, they weren't trying to have a great match. I think that the FTR and Motor City Machine Guns were out there wrestling their asses off. But ultimately, like this whole thing was set up for like to finish with Wardlow having his thing with Lethal, and like it's so weird. As like Lethal and Wardlow, if they had a match, it would be great. If FTR and Machine Guns had their match, that would be great. But like these 6 teams with like Dutt and with Sanjay, not Sanjay, but with Singh, it just didn't work. And I was like, yo, this best tag team in the world, huh?
Oh shit. FTR they had a match with
you're doing this. What's the best tag team match you've seen this year, Rich?
I was asleep. Young Bucks versus Lucha Brothers. Rampage.
What's the second best tag match you've seen this year, Rich?
I had to think about it.
What's the third best tag match you've seen this year, Rich?
I don't have them all written down.
Okay, well, 2 of the 3 would at least be 2 FTR matches at this point. So I understand. Yeah, they would be. You would either say that first. The way you were, Rich, we have you on audio. Don't make me pull up the audio.
Look,
don't make me pull up the audio, Rich.
I have a new one here. Coming up soon.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I promise I do.
No, you don't. You're lying to yourself if you say that. But yeah, sure.
I'm not. I am not.
I watched that match and I was like, oh, cool, 4.5. Like, when I saw people talk about they should have switched us, I was like, are you high? Matt Caster stunk in that match. Like, if this is the Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, what's the call match from last year where people were like, oh my God, my expectations were so low for this match, it was awesome. Then, like, sure, but like, rewatch that match. You tell me if this was a 3-man carry job.
Okay, we'll get there in a minute, but yeah, the snooze job here with FTR. So they do the whole thing where they bring Dax's daughter in the ring. I believe she pins Sanjay Dutt, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, for funsies, because Bryce is just out there just to do it.
Yep.
I thought she was going to slap him or something.
So after that, we get Powerhouse Hobbs against Ricky Starks, and this was 5 minutos here. Not much of a match here. This was like a real strong win for Hobbs. I popped at the finish because I knew it was the finish. I was like, wow, that's his finish. And then he beat him. I was like, okay. I guess, this is more about lifting Hobbs up here a little bit, and seeing as how there's lots of baby faces that were, successful that are champions. They got to get some heels in position, it looks like. So, as far as Ricky Starks, we talk about matches that aren't set up for you to really show what you can do.
Yeah, like, this is one of those matches that was put on the card and I said to you, like, this is better suited being on a built-up TV show, like on a Rampage, like 9 o'clock or some shit, like the main event or not the opener, but like 9 o'clock or the main event. And then they did this match in like 4 or 5 minutes. Like, all right, well, I know they're not done, but like, it reminds me of like that but Baker and Thunder Rosa match, like the second one that led to the match in San Antonio, where it's like, we're going to give you a finish that makes you pissed off because we're going to give you the actual result you want on television later. I'm like, okay, so this is like a trope he has. It seems like this is going to be a new thing that he has in his back pocket every so often when it's like, we have way too many fucking matches on this card. Let's get out of here and then get more heat and then give you the payoff later. And like, cool, I guess, but like, it was funny because like Stars came out here and looking like looking like a fucking 1998 Rough Rider. Look at that man owns a fucking Ducati motorcycle and he got it looking like a biker boy and then promptly got his ass whooped. And I was like, okay, that was strange. I don't know what was happening here. I don't know why I'm supposed to care anymore after this, but okay, all right. And I just shrugged and it's like, time for next match, I guess.
Yeah. So up next, we had the World Tag Team Championships, Swerve and Our Glory defending against the acclaimed, very, very, very over #1 selling T-shirt. Swerve and Lee come out and they just have like this look on their faces like they're here to prove a point. Swerve especially comes out the new Jeff Hamilton jacket on and new pay-per-view gear I haven't seen, and this was a masterpiece. I was like so impressed by this. I think this was the match of the night. This was like the crowd just is something about Chicago and AEW tag team matches. They call it lightning in a bottle here. Anthony Bowen's selling of his knee was great. There at the beginning of the match, there was a lot of the meme chanting going on, and this was like, I feel like this was the night where Swerve and Lee really like planted like their feet down, like to really like just show how great they are. Like, we saw the match where they won the titles. There's a lot going on, and I felt like I really saw like their character performances in this. I feel like it's like Swerve's work in particular. I think he's clearly the MVP here. Just adjusting on the fly, the crowd, like, you know, both of these being babyface teams, and the crowd clearly picks one. But, you know, Lee and Swerve adjusting on the fly and working like pros and figuring it out. And then once, like, you know, Swerve kind of sets this match up in that promo where he talks about Bowens' body failing him. And I was like, going into the match, and I was like, I wonder if that's going to play into this. Then, like, he does that thing, he falls off the ropes. Bowens injured so much that he immediately goes down with it. The whole crowd drops out of all that meme shit, and they're like, oh my God, did this guy hurt himself again? And then they fucking kill his leg. I think Max Caster really only had one job in this match, which was to lift up Keith Lee at a certain point and slam him, which he did. But I think the near falls in this were incredible. The unpredictable nature of it was incredible. I think people calling for an audible were absolutely ridiculous because that's not how this works. But like
that's not the point. Like, the whole point of this match is to get you to want them to win it eventually from them, or get them to want them to win it anyway. Like, this match puts a claim on the match as not just a fucking goofball act. Or
like,
so, like, yeah.
And I think Swerve and Lee were like they were in charge of like legitimizing them and showing like how great they were in the process. This had so many things going for it. This was like a movie.
But the thing is, Rich, it worked so good that, like, now you have idiots out here acting like Lee and Swerve weren't the kingmakers that they absolutely were in this match, especially Swerve, and that, like, nah, like, Max Caster is now a completely new guy from what you've actually seen, like, the whole fucking 2 years we've seen this fucking guy. It is like, bro, do you not see how terrible that fucking dropkick he threw was? Get out of here.
I thought it was like I mentioned this to you, like, I think they needed to break people's hearts with this. And that's what happened here. And this was like this hit everything for me. Like, so,
I like this match. I thought it was a 4.5 star match, right? Like, if you were to ask me, like, I'd probably say this is like the third or fourth best Swerve match I've seen this year. Something like that, right? Like, I like the Nick Wayne match more. I like the match that they won the titles with, or whatever else. It is what it is. But, I think the thing for me mostly is just like, they did this for these fucking guys, and then the response isn't, oh my God, they're fucking awesome, Swerve and Lee. It's, oh yeah, they're still NXT guys, so fuck them. Like, we were not going to gravitate to them. It's like, are you guys out of your fucking minds?
I thought the question that they got in the press conference was embarrassing. I think
that's probably what set me off mostly about this. But, like, it's also, you still see this is like, well, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I thought it was embarrassing. I thought it was dumb. I was like, why would you ask them, like, should they have called an audible? It was like, one, they're not the booker. Two, that's like you're trying to blow up the medium by having them answer that shit.
Rich, do me a favor. If you ever get a chance, people that are listening, if you ever get a chance, go to Denise Salcedo's like videos of the scrum from YouTube last night. Go to the Keith Lee and Swerve one, and then get to the part where they first mention the idea of audible, and you can see it on their faces. Like, Swerve has shades so you can't see his eyes, but he sits there. He doesn't move an inch. He doesn't budge. Nothing. Right. But as the question gets towards the word audible, you can see Tony Khan in his eyes like, oh my God, they're going to say something about going to an audible. These fucking idiots. I don't want to answer this, deal with this. And then Keith Lee is like, in good faith, listen to the question. And then once he says the word audible, you can see it sticks to him for like 3 seconds. And he's like, he wants to like cuss this fucking guy out, or he wants to tell him he's a fucking idiot. It was great. It was great. I clicked.
If you have not watched, if you have not watched Swerve in Lee's press conference, it's 12 minutes. I implore you.
Great character work.
Like
this shit, like all the shit you hear people say about Jay White. I've seen some of these Jay White post-match interviews or whatever else, or press conferences after New Japan matches. They're not nearly as compelling as this whole thing was, where you have Swerve sitting there arguing with the fucking boss, and it's a work shoot. It's not what CM Punk did at all. Yeah. At all. But you clearly see, like, my character is pissed off that after beating these dudes thoroughly, that like you want to give them another shot in their hometown, no less. We're gonna fucking hurt these guys because it is gonna be your fucking fault, Booker, man.
Yep. Incredible match. I'm like at least 4 3/4, maybe higher. I'm like in the middle on it, and I think it was incredible. And I think it was like I was looking at it and I was like, man, I don't know how long Swerve and Lee are going to be a tag team. I'm not interested in exploring like when they're going to break up and all this stuff like this. Like I'm kind of taking a ride here, right? But
now they're going to be like this, for lack of a better word, like this new standard heel tag team of NXTers that are going to kick all the AEW ass. If this is what they're going for, it's going to work like gangbusters. And eventually somebody will figure this out, that this is what they're doing, and then people will be like, oh, well, this is a great role for them right now, and for the time being, like, but like, this is a great place for them to like grow equity in the company around Tony Khan, around the guys in the locker room, around the fans of them hating them, whatever else, and they can almost run this shit like a, similar to any other great tag team we've seen in recent memory, like whether it was like FTR in NXT or it was like O'Reilly and Strong in NXT, where it's like, or the Usos, whatever you want to say, where they're just like, they're the standard now. Like understand you like the Young Bucks, whatever else. They're the trios. They're standard trios. This is standard tag team now.
They're the tag team now.
When we get this fucking Swerve in Our Glory versus Lucha Bros match,
can't wait.
It's gonna be out of this world.
And I think what I was saying was, I think the end point here with Swerve is like he's a top guy in this promotion. Like he's that's his ceiling here, I feel like. And
he has a talent for it. It's just I have my concerns of the fans not gravitating to him unless he's a heel because of the NXT stink on him. So from the AEW fans, so I have that concern. But as far as talent, yeah.
Like we're looking at guys in their early 30s that are in this company, and people that are getting built up, and like looking at this guy and then seeing like how he can work on either side of the coin.
Oh,
we know he's a dog in the ring. Like we know he's charismatic. Like he's got, youth on his side. He's got like the cool factor. Yeah. Like,
also,
this is the one. And look, and he's driven. He's driven to prove a lot of people wrong about it.
Also, Swerve and Our Glory versus FTR, like that match would go the fuck off if they ever do it. Like I don't know if it's because they've been around long enough, but those are NXT guys they're okay with. I don't know how this works in the AEW fandom. Like you were at WWE or whatever. Like if you like, there's like a cutoff date. Like if you showed up after the pandemic, you are not gang. I don't know what's going on. But that seems like the rules. Or no, actually, no. Like if you made it to AEW before the Thunderdome, you're a gang. If not, get fucked. I don't know what's going on, but it feels like that. Like some random arbitrary line between 2020 and 2021. I don't know what it is.
I guarantee you, and maybe this is a post-show thing we can do, just because of like the dead air that it would be. I like to consider myself pretty plugged in with the AEW fan base. I could probably tell you how it all works if you put like a list of names in front of me.
Like Adam Cole's only one. That's it, and that's because Elite.
And even then,
he still gets it, but but most of the
it ain't always love for him.
But when he comes out, he hits the baby, they lose their shit for it, all that kind of stuff. But it's weird, man. It's really weird.
But yeah, excellent match. I think this is the best match of the night, and I was like blown away by this.
I have to watch the trios match, but like at worst it's second. At worst.
AEW World Women's title 4-way match. Toni Storm picks up the championship, beats Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, and Jamie Hayter. Britt and Jamie implode on this. Toni Storm picks up the belt like she was planned to the whole time, and this was pretty good. Like I didn't think it was like the weakest match on the show or anything. Like some of the matches that have been in the women's championship spot. This was pretty good. like excited to see what Toni Storm does with it. I don't know how necessarily over she is right now. If it was me, I'd go with Britt just because it's like she's the star, she's the one everyone cares about. But I guess you got to do something else. So I don't have a problem with Toni winning it, and I think this was well worked. This wasn't anything that would embarrass you.
Yeah, this wasn't embarrassing. It's approaching good. It's approaching good. Maybe it is good. Maybe it's because the match it followed or whatever else with all the drama involved in it. But yeah, their crowd really liked Jamie. I now know and have a newfound respect for Chicago.
What do you mean, James? This was a match of 3 Stardom wrestlers and Hikaru Shida.
No, the way they were cheering for Jamie, I didn't know that Chicago was a hip booty and thigh type of town, but it's good to know. But yeah, it set up all the stuff, right? They wanted Jamie. Britt's in the way of that, right? And who she's dating, who she used to date, who a wrestling, father figure is. It fits in line of all the Triple H-ism of look, if anybody's going to win a title in my group, in my clique, it's going to be me. I will sabotage this shit so no one else wins if it comes down to it, but it will be me or no one. And,
real hater energy.
Yeah. So Britt, I wonder if Britt got a, You think she has a picture of Triple H, her and Triple H, and she's holding the sledgehammer? You think that exists?
I don't know.
We'll see. Never mind. I was gonna make jokes about Triple H's Christmas card looks like, and it doesn't involve a sledgehammer in the Christmas cards with the kids and then Stephanie. I don't know, but whatever.
Now the Gargano residence, I'm sure you could probably find one of those laying around.
Candace is definitely taking a picture with the sledgehammer. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Shit, for all I know.
Look.
When Lil Quill Gargano goes to his christening, Sean and Hunter both gonna be there, right? Let's move on. I can't wait to see a picture of Johnny out there with the priest, right? Johnny with the priest and Candace, and then in the background is Hunter and Sean, and Hunter got the fucking sledgehammer. But anyway, let's move on. So I thought that story was great, and that clearly moves on to, they've been teasing that for forever, over a year now, ever since she first showed up, when she even wasn't even doing the DMD thing, but Rumble that was always a hint that they were eventually going to go that route. It's nice to know that, or not nice to know, but it's interesting to know that it seems like they're going to Britt is still going to be the heel and James will be the babyface. It was good to see Hikaru Shida, on American television instead of having to see her elsewhere, except for Dark. Toni Storm won, and then let's talk about this press conference thing afterwards. So, do you see this?
I didn't pay great attention to the Toni Storm one.
It's only 6 minutes, and you can tell she didn't have much thought of what she was going to say out there. They just had her out there because she's a new champion. And
shocker,
right? So, Tony Khan made a joke about we should get Tony Schiavone out here so it could be Tony. And I think the joke kind of went over Toni Storm's head. She's born in the 90s. She's what the fuck is Tony? But anyway, so at some point, she said something along the lines of, look, someone asked about Toni Storm's, about Thunder Rosa's injury and everything, and she goes, look, Thunder said she's hurt, okay? And then, moved on. You can see where the point, and then said, when she comes back, we're going to run something, beat her ass. She said this is a work shoot thing, and, I'm going to beat her for get the interim title taken off of my belt to be full world women's champion.
Hey James, Credler says Michael Cole told me Toni Storm was an '80s wild child, so of course she knows the '90s. That's a good one.
I forgot about that totally. Oh man. So yeah, like I'm just like the way she said it was like it's Thunder or Tony Storm don't believe that shit really either. She's like, look, she said she's hurt. Look, I just work here. I ain't got shit to do with whatever's going on. Like if you want to ask questions about Thunder Rosa's health, well, I'll be talking about this other Tony that's actually the fucking owner of AEW. Oh, he's still shell-shocked from what CM Punk did? Never mind. Like
that man's like recovering still, like a bomb went off near him in Nam.
It was funny, like he had more smoke for the tampering shit than CM Punk. Like CM Punk is out here like setting that shit ablaze. It was funny. But yeah, like there's gonna be a return match at some point. I don't know what the next opponent is. They asked her, they lobbed her a softball to ask her who she wants to face next, and then like she kept naming names. I was like, it's weird she didn't mention Serena Deeb, and then like eventually, like she mentioned a couple names, and then she basically like leaked to Tony Khan and was like, say some names. I was like, you've been here long enough to know some of these names. I don't know what's going on. And then like he mentioned Serena Deeb. She was like, oh yeah, her too, definitely. You want to do that? So yeah, like I think she'll have a decent title run as far as defenses. Obviously, the concern is like program building. How are you going to get people to care about these matches? And that and obviously it comes back to the never-ending cycle on the wheel of AEW Women's Wrestling.
AEW Women's Division conversation here.
Yeah. We've had enough ad nauseum. Go to our YouTube channel. Go through the playlist. Play on any of them. We've done it ad nauseum. I'm sure we'll do it again. Don't have the time right now because we spent an hour talking about CM pull up. So it is what it is. What was next?
Christian Cage and Jack Perry. So this is more of an angle than anything. Christian comes out, does his entrance. Jungle Boy comes out. It's attacked by Luchasaurus. I'm like confused at this point. I'm like, I thought they were cool, but I guess the whole situation was the Luchasaurus never actually touched him, or I don't know how people tried to explain this one away, but whatever the case is, he's still working for Christian. And he came out the opposite entrance, fucked up Jack Perry before the match, chokeslammed him on the metal, chokeslammed him through the table, rolled him in, and then basically caught a spear from Christian, 24 seconds. And this was like more of an angle, kind of like at this point in the show, I'm kind of laughing because everyone spent so long doing all this hand wringing and crying about the show length and stuff like that. I'm like, well, they have done short matches like this before. Even in WWE, there's like a couple matches. Like I remember one SummerSlam, they had like tons and tons of matches, right? And they were doing like Randy Orton and at that time Rusev, and I believe Orton like squashed him, and it was like a deal where he got jumped before the bell, but he gave him RKO out of nowhere like 10 seconds into the match.
Beat him up and then roll in the ring, bell rings, RKO pinned. Yep.
Like that is a trope of wrestling shows that look overcrowded. So I would encourage people when they see like all those matches on paper, have your eye out for which one is an angle alert. And apparently Christian's dealing with a legitimate injury. That's why they didn't do the match. But I think this was effective in a way. I do. And it makes you want to see Jack fuck Christian up eventually. I would have liked it here, but for the sake of moving the show along, I couldn't get too mad at it.
I wanted to see the match. I thought that I talked about this match earlier in the week. I don't know if it was on air or whatever, but like when I was talking to I was talking to Chad, because Chad was doing the thing where he was complaining about like this is going to be some 5-hour show. Or he thought it was going to be a 7-hour show. I was like, where do you get 7 hours from? Like all these shows are always 4 hours, except for like that one show where they went 5 because they wanted to buy time for the belt presentation for Martha Hart, where they bought another hour. Outside this, all these shits are like 4 hours with a hour or a half hour pre-show. It's 5 hours tops normally, except for that one time. And like they were mentioning like all these matches, like, well, some of these shits are a little short, just to whatever else. And I remember saying like I wish that like these matches were on the card, like the Christian match or the Starks match, because it's like these matches are better suited if they were, and it would be more memorable being like on TV as a main event or a 9 o'clock segment or whatever else, than like being like the 9th best match on the show. And what do? They're all angles to get to eventually a TV match or something, or to get to Arthur Ashe or whatever. So like they basically did what I did as some meeting in the middle or whatever else to get more heat for the next thing. So I'm fine with it.
Hold on, James. I think we got breaking news. Diogo says, I think AEW released an official statement. If you guys find that, please share it with us in the comments.
Send the link. Not to say we don't trust y'all with copy and paste, but we'd rather see the link.
Let's see.
So what I was going to say or finish off with was I thought it was hilarious to see because that is true. Like Oscurosaurus has never officially touched Christian in this whole thing. He just let Jungle Boy come out and attack and beat the shit out of Christian, which is just worse. No, he actually beat his ass at one. No, actually, that was the one time where like he walked into the ring. So actually, no, it actually is like holds up to some scrutiny or whatever else. But for me, like the idea that like Christian hits a spear, Edge's move, he kicks, and then Christian gets him up and hits the fucking oh my god, what's it called? What's Christian's move?
Unprettier.
Unprettier. What he has his own name for it.
The fucking
Saki Kashima calls it my emblem. What's it called? Fuck.
Kill switch.
That's what it is. And what I always remember it as is like if he turns you around and drops you with it, you're a fucking
it's fake.
geek.
Never mind.
Okay, yeah. I was like, if you ever get dropped with the kill switch, you're a geek. And that holds up in Stardom, just as it holds up in WWE, as it holds up in AEW. He got whooped, he rolled in there, got speared, and got dropped with that thing, and I was like, wow, poor Jungle Boy. And then Christian gets on the top of the second rope to celebrate, and he's wearing a shirt that says worked, period. Everyone, period. I fucking howl, because like, yeah, he did. This man is out here doing, not wrestling matches. He's a great wrestler, not really wrestling matches at this point. He filled the MJF slot for the time being by saying disgusting things, and like he got heat on the young guy. I was like, this is like in a microcosm some of the things people complain about, but like I don't think for a second anybody that watches this show doesn't think that like Christian's not gonna get his ass whooped.
Right.
Christian's gonna get his ass whooped.
And they're probably gonna have like a lights out match or something.
Probably. But for the time being, similar to the Jericho beating Kingston thing, like I'm gonna enjoy like people being upset about this. It was fun. And then like Christian wearing that worked everyone thing was funny because like this man has said what he was a snake the whole time. And he's done it. Good for him.
Up next, Chris
Light
Jericho
years
versus
in front of Edge. Light years.
Oh yeah. While Edge is getting turned on the day before, Christian is thriving.
I'll give Edge this though. Edge had him a match the other night. It was a very good match, and the crowd loved it more than it being just a very good match. Because they did a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors at the end of it that made the crowd lose its shit for it, right? And rightfully so. And like I was happy for Edge because like it's been a bad like few months, a year or so for Edge. So I was happy for him to get some kind of positive reinforcement or reaction.
They got to send Edge exclusively on international tours.
Bro, they popped for him like it was 2021 or 2020. Like before, like people were like, "Oh, he's been around," and like he was never that level of star. Like they were like, "Oh, we haven't seen him since like the 90s or something." It's like this is like his first match. Like this is his first match in UK in like a decade. We love Edge. That's what it was. He got a huge pop. You got to hear it. You got to see it. Do you watch Clash of Castle?
Yeah, I watched the whole show.
You even watched this? Like I know you checked out at some point. Okay, you saw it. So you saw like were they big star, international star Edge when he got that came out there. Huge star.
So up next we had Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson.
Hall of Fame pop.
Lionheart versus American Dragon. Man, disappointing. This was not it, Chief. This was boring. This had no heat. This was a struggle the only Danielson match that I can think of that this kind of reminded me
AJ Styles?
Of the AJ Styles match at the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
I felt like I was watching the same match.
It
was just like
same exact thought.
what the fuck is this? And then Danielson's entrance, where this guy is coming out singing Danielson's song, and I saw this guy. There were people that was thinking it was Machine Gun Kelly. It was not. The young man came out shirtless and oiled up. He was in good shape. He was singing, the point. And I guess like the person who made that song is a friend of Brie Bella's and a friend of Bryan Danielson's, and did the song. And it was like that cursed the match or something. Like it just didn't. Like I saw Lionheart a couple weeks ago against Jon Moxley, and I was completely in it. I think Jericho had a bad night at the office. I think Danielson kind of just was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna try," and it just didn't work out. This was not very good at all.
Okay, I have my hand on my mouth to cover my reaction in case he said something out of pocket about that dude. Because I was like, I don't know where this is going, but I don't want to be caught off guard like Tony Khan was last night. But but yeah, man, like the dude came out, and I was, being there watching it with Zach and Dan. Dan was like, I thought it was a woman that was on the vocals of this shit. I had no idea. So I was like, oh Lord. I thought me personally, I heard dude the whole time when I was ever heard it, but whatever. So yeah, like to hear the post match thing with Jericho, and Jericho was like, we just went out there and we just called it in the ring, and I was like, that's what happened. That's what happened. Like you thought that this was fucking 1998. Okay, I see what happened. I see how you end up in this situation. If you. Obviously, I'm sure they had ideas what they wanted to do, blah, 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 blah.
It just wasn't there.
It just but the back and forth of going through every single, bump, tumble, twist, momentum change, and back and forth, it didn't click. It reminded me very much of the AJ Styles Royal Rumble match. It is funny because I haven't talked to you about that. I was just like that, but that was the first thing that went in my head. So once you went there, I was like, it's probably about to say AJ Styles. But just a bad, like you mentioned, bad day at the office. Unfortunate. So I guess, but the way Jericho was talking about it afterwards was like,
oh, he don't know that.
Look, man, he knows. He heard that crowd. He heard that crowd die on him.
I feel like they kind of went through the motions. They didn't.
Look. You have it as long as you've been wrestling. If you've been wrestling as long as Chris Jericho, and like for him, he always wanted to have some. Apparently, he was like, this is like a thing similar to him. It felt like he mentioned like it felt like when he first wrestled Undertaker first time, because it's like I was in this company and I never got to wrestle Undertaker till years later after. And I finally got them. I was like, yes. And he said the same similar fashion to the Danielson thing. We're like, been around each other forever. We only really had like the 2 matches. This is like my first like feature length match with him. And he said it felt great. And like, look, if you've been doing it as long as Chris Jericho in American Pro Wrestling, sometimes these matches ain't for everybody. Sometimes the match is just for you and, your coworker. And this had to be one of those matches. Didn't work. If you say like, I never want to see them have a match again, I'd say no, because I think they're going to have a rematch at some point, and I bet you like they're going to take whatever they learn from this experience, and they'll when they have the second match, it'll be awesome. So I'm not going to write them off. Look, I tried to write we were both about to write Jericho off in 2020 with the Orange Cassidy shit, and then like he revamped and turned it around. So I'm not ready to just say that. Like I just saw 2 weeks ago, he had one of my favorite matches in America this year. So, yeah, it's just a bad night in the office, as you mentioned. And also, like, this crowd, by this point in time, like, after the tag match, you can see this crowd, like, just be like, hey, man, I just want to get to the main event. Fuck. A lot of this crowd was doing that third or that last, like, 90 minutes of the show.
Yeah, I was saying that, and you already know the rule with me when it comes to Chris Jericho. Never count out Chris Jericho. So, yeah. Comment section, shouts out to y'all.
Yeah, wild, disrespectful.
6-man tag. Darby Allin, Miro, and Sting against the House of Black. This was there. I had fun. I don't think it was all that good or anything.
Yeah, it was good. It wasn't but it wasn't great. And it's built. Look, long as you get the Sting no sell at some point in the match, I'm gonna pop for it. And I got that and whatever else. But like, yeah, this was definitely a step down from some of the stuff we've seen Darby and Sting do as a tag team in AEW pay-per-views. Definitely a step down.
Yeah. Malachi Black is kind of taking center stage here. He's the one that gets the pin on him. And after the match, I guess he bows and blows kisses to the crowd, and it could be, either going home. Like, I don't know what the deal is with him, but he may not be around in the near future. I guess we'll stick with the story. And the more that comes out with it, Tony Khan wouldn't comment on it at the press conference. So I don't know what to make of all this.
Yeah.
So they main event time, AEW World Title match. CM Punk defeating Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. About 19 minutes. They kind of have like a old school brawl kind of match. At first, I thought they were going to try to rip off Hart and Austin in Chicago. They didn't end up doing that, but CM Punk came out in all the white pants. I knew
so
he was
you knew
bleed
it was
on
going to
them
be
immediately.
Blood. Yep.
Yes.
Did you also notice the pants though?
Yes, he had the Bret Hart.
Yep.
He had the stars in the Bret Hart like style there.
Yeah, I was like what, bro? I was like, this is like some Hart Foundation pink like pants or whatever else, except they're white in light blue. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. But this was a good brawl. Crowd was really into this. I think they did like some old school trickery here in this, and this worked out pretty well. Crowd went crazy for it. We were split. Moxley was getting a mixed reception, but the crowd was like 100% to CM Punk. He didn't have to worry about them streets, going awry on him, at least on this night. But yeah, this was a great match. I would say I'll probably go like 4.25.
Yeah, I'm thinking 4.25 as well. And quite frankly, like, that's about what I gave the title change that Punk had over Page too. Like, I really enjoyed the match, both matches. Yeah, I thought it was a great story, and I thought it was really good action. And I thought, like, he looked healthy. It moved around the ring. Like, I know we gave him a lot of shit, especially when he was like fucking up, what do you call it, buckshot lariats or whatever else. But it's like, if the dude's like, obviously we found out he had a foot injury or whatever else after that, but it's like, if the dude like has his legs underneath him, he's gonna give you a quality pay-per-view match and a quality of like, what is the standard of what an AEW World Champion has been outside of like Kenny Omega and Adam Page. So yeah, like I was happy with the match. Like, I think this is the first time Moxley has lost clean, like getting pinned clean in a long time.
Yeah.
I'd have to go through it, but
the last time he got pinned clean was in a tag match against the Young Bucks
with Kingston.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I thought great match and got the win with Babyface Hero at the end. And then the lights went off, and then like, I think I was listening about that when I had caught up on one of the text threads you were on, and you're like, MJF, it's got to be MJF, and I was like, okay, so MJF comes out now, and sure enough, boom, crowd pops because returning person after big star after a long time, and that's the next program. And like I thought about it, I was like, okay, so if they do that
before we do that,
go ahead.
We have to talk about Jon Moxley.
Okay.
And he drops his title to CM Punk. He's had a phenomenal year.
Yeah.
He had an awesome title reign. I usually have one of those title eulogies ready. I only have it halfway written. I'm anticipating on finishing that and putting that out on Twitter at some point this week. But this guy like left blood all over the United States, and really like stepped in at a crucial point for this company, become the first 2-time champion in the process, and really just like going to like having matches in a way where it seems like he was fighting to, I don't know if like
is he the leader in main events and pay-per-views?
I don't know. I would have to check. Like it's either him or Kenny.
Yeah, but I think it might be him now at this point because he also has Forbidden Door one.
Yeah, he got that one. I think that he brought a great spirit to the belt, especially the way that, you know, it was him and Jericho holding down the promotion like at the top throughout the summer.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know if he's a Wrestling Observer Hall of Famer yet. I don't know if I would like slam dunk vote him in yet.
Really?
If I had a vote, like I don't feel like I would need to see like more.
Really?
I think like I'm almost there. Like he's borderline. I'm thinking about it, but I definitely like I went from a like what would be like a fuck no by the time he left to WWE, where I'm like I'd consider it, but I'm just not sure right now. Like I just feel like he needs like another like he needs to not get cut off essentially by CM Punk here. Like, but I know it may have not necessarily been planned for him to have this time, but he sure maximized it. He's probably going to win that Flair Thez. And, you know, if I was voting on the ballot this year, I don't know, but next year he does it again. I think he's a slam dunk at that point. And I think he bought himself like a lot of, like people make the jokes about him, about how much he blades and bleeds and does like some tropey stuff sometimes in his match. But he's just a guy that seems like he wrestles really hard and he's willing to take the challenge to wrestle different styles of guys anywhere, different levels. It's kind of admirable when you think about it. Like
he gives a fuck.
Yeah. So and it's like you really like, you know, like the entrance and like him building a unit around him. Like it's been a banner time for him, I think, and keeps that going. I think he'll be like a Hall of Famer for sure.
So for me, I don't have a observer vote, obviously, but like for me, given
one day we will both have all observer Hall of Fame votes. I'm speaking into existence.
Like so,
JML, put the word in.
So for me, looking at like the peers in the North American or his contemporaries in the North American perspective, right? And then looking at like from just like a me personally, like right. I'm the person where like if you want to do a Hall of Fame thing, you have to. I will gravitate more towards brilliance over a short amount of time rather than consistency for a year. Like this isn't some what do you call it? This isn't some perfect attendance ass thing. Like Jason Witten, you're not a Hall of Famer. I know a lot of y'all Cowboys fans. No. He was just very good for a long ass time. Same thing for Rafael Palmeiro. He had a whole lot of home runs for a whole lot of years, but not like a shit ton of home runs or had some great, fantastic years. You're like, oh yeah, this guy goes up here with a Bonds 2000 or 2000s year. Well, that's unfair. Be my point. Like, this is like some 1998 McGuire year. Like, no, period. No. So, for me, like, I am a person, like, when I look at, like, NFL Hall of Fame, right? Like, Aaron Donald, JJ Watt, they were first ballot Hall of Famers for me 5 years ago. Like, if you win Defensive Player of the Year 2 or 3 times in a short period of time, you're a Hall of Famer. Because that is defensive MVP. That is basically MVP of what they actually will give a defensive player. That means you were the best player on that side of the ball for a short amount of time. That's you. You're in. Right. Period. Like if you win Flair Thez 2 out of 3 years, I need a good fucking excuse for why you're not going to be a Hall of Famer. Like similar to like the Bill Simmons rule of like if you win an MVP or whatever else or some I need to know what the reason is for why I wouldn't put you or whatever else. Like so the Derrick Rose thing will count as like devastating injury, never the same level of player. Like that makes sense, right? But like if you were the best, if you were number one for a full year, or you're about to be number one 2 out of 3 years, and the only thing that stopped you from like getting a lot of votes in the middle year between was you had to go to alcoholic rehab for your alcoholism. Hey, gotta say, guys had a phenomenal 4 straight fucking years in a row. He has. So for me, like if he's not a Hall of Famer from North American side out of this era, who the fuck is from 2019 to now? If it's not him,
I think
Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Kenny Omega's already in. That don't count. He's already in.
I think CM Punk's going to be his
Young Bucks?
competition. The Bucks are in.
What year they get in?
Or they will be in first.
They will be in. We know what I mean. I mean, like, if we're saying like last 4 years, we're gonna pick American or North American wrestling acts, right? That aren't in yet, but are going in. Like the people we're gonna be mentioned are people who's like you put them next to what he's done in the last 4 years, and like, who is it?
I think I would put the Bucks before him, but anyone else, I would struggle. Like I think you would have to talk about CM Punk.
CM Punk will come up. Roman Reigns will come up. I think that's the list. I think that four will be the list.
Yep. Sasha Banks, maybe.
Sasha's Hall of Fame resume thing is very hard to do because
good luck for her getting the votes.
Yeah, there's that part too. And then like, you know how wishy-washy they were with her whole career that gets in the way of like whatever she's done being able to accomplish in the ring with the belt between the bells. Yeah, so it'd be difficult. I mean, but like, and then like, you know, the level of draw she is versus the level of draw they let her be based off of presentation, that all gets in the way of like her case. But yeah, like those would be the four people that immediately come to mind for like, if we're ever going to put somebody in the Hall of Fame in North America, those would be the four acts. Punk, Moxley, Reigns, Young Bucks. Everything else is like, what is it even discussed? Everything's a notch below.
Let's see.
Frank Gore's not a Hall of Famer. No. You're right. I've had this argument before. Like, if you go on my time, hold on. Go ahead, Rich.
I was going to say, we were getting the return of MJF. I was going to go into that next. But, yeah, MJF, as you mentioned, showed up in that video package. He basically plays that CM Punk ROH video. There's a voicemail from Tony Khan that is essentially saying he can come back. He doesn't have to sign an extension. We'll put you in the casino ladder match. And he's, he doesn't care about the fans. I have to watch it all again, but I heard it and I was like, oh, great. I was like, I just don't want the Tony Khan character to be on screen personally, but they've already gone this direction with it, and he has to be explained in some fashion to MJF to return. So MJF unmasks. You see the Burberry scarf, turns around, music hits, Chicago goes fucking crazy. You're cheering for him. It's at CM Punk, and I'm just like, MJF's the last real worker. He has so many people fooled. So many people came out here and
stupid though.
Like literally like frantically deleting their tweets, saying that he was worse than the Miz, and then acting like he was like this God Almighty for these couple of months, and now they'll go back to saying he's worse than the Miz again. It's hilarious, quite frankly. Like I didn't like the promo when he cut it at the time. I thought it was like making a heel out of the promotion when you didn't necessarily need to.
You were right, but the thing is, like, he was gone for so long that like people don't gonna forget all that shit, so it's fine. We didn't know he was gonna be gone for that long.
Yeah. They get back to him and Punk. Seemingly he has the unit around
just
him
in time so they can, at the last second come out here and steal feud of the year or lock it down at least, because it was still like it was happened so early in the year you kind of forget and all that kind of stuff, and now they're gonna go at the third time and like, yep, it's gonna hold up.
Yeah. So I imagine.
Sorry, Okada Ospreay.
I imagine there's gonna be a
sorry.
Like CM Punk's gonna, or excuse me, or both guys are gonna cut some electric promos. Yep. There's an Arthur Ashe Stadium show waiting for a big match there. I don't know how the external factors with CM Punk in this belt. And if
you think about it, right, it wouldn't have made much sense for CM Punk to. It made sense if CM Punk once he signs up has to win the title. but it's not wise for him to be the champion for long. So if you think about it, think about when he wins it, and then like had he not broke his foot, the length of that reign, had there been no it leaving coming back, it would have made sense for him to have won it at Double or Nothing, and then take it to Arthur Ashe and MJF to win it. It would have made sense, but maybe they extend it a little bit longer. Who knows? Whatever else. Maybe they drag it out to Full Gear. Who knows? But yeah,
MJF's winning this shit, and
he's going to be.
And I was like, this guy's a genius. When he came back, and he is like, it's like he's the one that, like, out of the people, like, and I think a lot of people were getting their collar pulled. They were getting really worked by this guy, and MJF liked one of my tweets. I want to say in May, if I'm not mistaken, right? I just tweeted something. I think this was like when he was the special referee in the cage match. And I was like, MJF, a man they should pay. Bro, I got likes on that tweet because of that for months after that. Like, just people finding it. And I think he's somebody that, like, MP, our homeboy, wouldn't stop asking me about MJF, like, at different points. He's connected in a way where it's like, yeah, he's gonna bury, like, I can't wait to the first time he talks into the microphone. Like, it's gonna be great, and I think people are ready to receive him at the top, and I 100% endorse him winning the championship next, because I'm ready for the elevation to continue with, like, the next, like, group of guys, and MJF's the guy, the superstar that they've built. Like, not just a star, but this guy's a superstar. And his stock has only gone up.
So, yeah, like, he needs to be, like, even before Punk got hurt, or MJF left, we all thought, like, this was a succession line. Like, it's going to go to Punk, and then it's going to go to MJF, and then they'll go from there. Maybe it's Darby, maybe it's Wardlow, but whatever else. That's the succession plan. So, I'm fine with that. Like, we've gone a long way around getting back to where we were going to get to, but we got to where we thought we were going to be at the beginning of the year, like towards February or whatever else. So I'm good with that. So that's cool. Yeah, and I'm interested to see what they have to say to each other, and, like, they both have so much more ammunition now to say to each other, and, like, even if, like, Punk actually really doesn't like MJF, like, it's fine, because, like, they don't have to like each other, because they'll both just kill each other in promos and have a match, and it'll be, people will love it, and they'll probably like it more than I will, but, like, they'll love it, and whatever, it'll be great for the fans. So that's cool. So I found my Frank Gore tweet. This is from 2019. Gil Brandt, a writer for NFL, says, for those doubting Frank Gore's Hall of Fame credentials, quote, parentheses, how are any of you left? With 46 rushing yards on Sunday, he will surpass Barry Sanders, move on to third on the all-time NFL all-time rushing list, behind Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton. And my response was, Frank Gore's season finishes in yards per scrimmage in every year of his career. First year, 77th. Second year, 4th. Third year, 6th. Next year, 14th. Next year, 7th. Then 18th. Then 20th. Then 13th. Then 22nd. Then 24th. Then 20th. Then 16th. Then 21st. Then 64th. And then currently 76. Does that sound like a Hall of Fame guy to you, as offensive skill player, to be out here finishing in the top 5 in yards per scrimmage as a running back? 1, 2, 3 times in the top 10 out of, like, 29 damn years. That's not a Hall of Famer. That's a compiler. That people just be like, oh, he was very good for a long time. That's not what a Hall of Famer is. Hall of Famer is great. He was never great. So, yeah.
I never really paid attention to Frank Gore's career like that. So,
wanna know why? Because he's a compiler. He wasn't exactly Edrin James winning 2 fucking rushing titles in his first 2 years. Now, was he? He wasn't exactly Adrian Peterson winning three rushing titles in his first 2 years. Now was he? He wasn't exactly LaDainian Tomlinson out here with 1,000 yards receiving in a year, was he?
Can't recall.
Yeah, exactly. Or setting a single touchdown record. No, he wasn't.
Wasn't O.J. Simpson?
People have imagined. No, he did not rush for 2,000 yards like O.J. Simpson did. I know where you're getting at. I know you're doing the jokes. But you get my point. Like, where was it? Where was the all-time year?
He was not Emmitt Smith.
No, he did not rush for 1,500 yards 5 straight years or whatever the fuck.
He was not Jim Brown.
No.
He's not Walter Payton.
No.
Not Gil Sayers.
And this is the thing about Walter Payton. You look at Walter Payton's year-to-year career, there's a lot of minus sub 4 yards per carry season in there, but with all the bust in there, there's hella booms.
He's not Earl Campbell.
No.
Let's see who else.
He's not even Priest Holmes.
Oh my God. Is he better than Ricky Williams?
In my opinion, look, Ricky Williams won a rushing title.
He's better than Chris Johnson.
I will stop there, Chris Johnson. I never liked Chris Johnson. I thought he was just fast, and that's it. So, I'm not going that far, but whatever. Chris Johnson,
He's better than Jerome Bettis.
Oh, I would bristle at that one. I think Jerome Bettis has an underrated career, or whatever else, especially because people don't remember he was also.
Is he better than Terrell Davis?
No, he was not. Another person with a 2,000-yard season.
Jamal Lewis.
Another person with a 2,000-yard season.
Man, I'm just trying to think of everyone.
Derrick Henry just had damn near 2,000 yards, or did have 2,000 yards last year.
Jamal Anderson.
I think he's better than Jamal Anderson. You look at the career in totality, but whatever. All right,
he's not Marshall Faulk. You saying?
I hate Marshall Faulk too, but nah, you're not even fucking close. Oh man! All right, so I guess that's a show, right?
There's Clash at the Castle too. I don't feel like doing it tonight. Maybe we'll do that next week.
I mean, let's do that next week because there's so much Stardom shit I gotta cover. I'm missing 4 weeks of Stardom, so we haven't updated.
He is not better than Marshawn Lynch. No,
not at the peak for me. No.
So next week's the 10-year anniversary show.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I see there's more people in our live chat than have been. I think if you guys can send.
Thank you, CM Punk.
Yep, send your audio messages over to Rich at socialsuplex.com about your reflections on the show, anything you want to say about it. I'm going to listen to it live on air. I have not listened to any of them yet, so go ahead and do that, and we're gonna do our 10-year celebration. I guess we'll talk about Clash at the Castle next week.
Yeah,
but. Kind of free format next week besides that.
Yeah. Also, we will be giving you our each 5 new favorite rap lies as well. I got one in I stole them off Twitter.
Oh my God, I saw that post about the rap lies going around. I'm like, man, that would make it real easy for me.
I didn't see that. All I saw was somebody was like made a line. I was like, yes, they have never called that person that at all. Not for once.
I know what you're talking about. I saw that.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna take that and I'm gonna give them. I'm gonna try to find it on Twitter and find that and say this person gave me this one. But yeah.
So we've got our 10 best wrestlers of the last 10 years, right?
Well, okay, so how do you want to do it? Do you want to do the favorite 10 wrestlers of the O&R years, or do you want to do a revamped top 25 list because of the O&R years?
I would probably.
Or do you want to do both? It's up to you.
The 10 best of the 10 O&R years.
Okay.
And then our 10 matches.
10 matches, well, okay.
Clash at the Castle, and then the rap lies, and we'll
for the rest out whatever stuff that happens with AEW and the rest of this Punk fallout. We're gonna wait till we find out there's another fight.
Yep. So,
this place is turned into the damn recreational yard at San Quentin all of a sudden.
gang activity out here. Jesus. Unbelievable, bro. Like fix this shit, man. I am not trying to see this shit like radically change and go away and go down. Like, no. The fuck? Don't fuck the money. That's what's important here. The money.
Yeah. Oh,
look,
man.
you remember the movie Casino, and when at the end, the narrating and Joe Pesci is like, yeah, they gave us all everything in the world, and we fucked it all up. Like, don't do that. Like, don't do that. So, James Brown Wyo says AEW pay-per-views are the Source Awards.
No, next one up after that one. Read that one out loud.
No, Lethero Negro, I'd rather catch up on Stardom than talk about WWE next week. Rap Lives will be fun too. Yeah, bro. Look, Liv Morgan won a match. So
it was funny. Even the people that were like normally are like, you know, they'll cape for whatever they see out of the women's vision. They don't know. They don't have no critical thought on how to think about the women's wrestling. They were like, yeah, this was substandard. I was like, oh, so now you see the things I see. Oh, okay. Crazy how that works.
So, hell yeah, let's wrap it up, man.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to rate us on our app you're using to listen to this with. If you're watching from the live stream, look links to the Cash app and also the PayPal are on the screen. Click on that. If you're listening over the podcast, go to the show description or the show notes, and you will see a link to our Rare Circle. You can drop us off a donation there. As Rich also mentioned earlier before, was it Rich at Social Suplex?
Social Suplex,
Yep. Drop us off with the audio message you have. Don't do no slick shit. He's gonna get caught. It's gonna be bad blood, and then I will be forced to then come out and with my promo time, like call you out to the stage and try to middle you as babyface. So don't do that. And then also listen to other shows on the network. Like besides One Show Radio, you have Keepin It Strong Style, the Ricky Clive Wrestling Show, Grumman Watches Shit, The Great Consequences, All Things Elite, Great Match Generator, 8-Bit Suplex, Get in the Ring, Meet the Press Slam, and AEW Match Guide. Shout out to Sam. Sam got some message from some knucklehead last night where Sir Sam, the writer and host of AEW Match Guide was called an AEW hater, which was like, it took so much. It took so much for me not to call this person a moron or some name and name call them instead of just in my tweet where I respond to him and say, bro, click on his profile, look at the link in his profile. What are you talking about? But I left it alone. Look, CM Punk gave me the energy last night. I was like, you know what? You can motherfuck anyone. And I was like, you know what? This dude don't really deserve this. That'd be escalating. You got the point of escalating on this, whatever else. So I left it alone. But yeah, shout out to Sam, shout out to AEW Match Guide, and
also AEW Match Guide will be back this week, and it will be your boy on there with Sam, and we'll be discussing Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus the Young Bucks. This was recorded like around the time of Double or Nothing, I believe. This is some of the best audio that Sam and I have ever done together, so definitely look out for that.
Oh! Almost dropped my sinus medication. My bad. So what do you thought I was about to say? You made a face like, "Oh, what is this?"
Oh yeah, I was like, "Oh, what happened?"
Oh, it's nasal decongestant, man. Relax. Got my COVID test right here. You know. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Hey, check out Swerve's new single. Lifeline, featuring Anthony King, produced by Prophet the producer. It's off of his solo album, the first single.
Okay. If you give me the link, I will put it in the description.
For sure.
Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.